We didn't have a message when we left. Oh, very odd.
And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and get real high and I sit to the top of my lungs. What's going on? And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed to get it out of what's in my head and I feel it. I need a peculiar. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside.
I like it. I mean, hello!
I guess we'll be going down together. I mean, getting off together. I mean, going down together. I mean, getting off together.
That's okay. I'll just push the button for the stimulator. I mean elevator. I mean the stimulator. I mean think on sexy thoughts, think on sexy thoughts, think on sexy thoughts.
Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Hi! I don't know what the hell was going on with all those clips and videos. When I was playing them, like, they were all doing the wrong time and then they'd freeze. And I've got, like, 2 screens because of this shit. Like, what's this all about? You see this? See this that I'm doing? But this shit's set up so, like, it was freaking out. So the timing on that was probably terrible. Never mind. But hey, welcome. How are you guys doing? We got stupid sexy Flanders. I can't stop thinking about his sweet supple ass. Welcome everyone. I'm doing a little relaxing. Well, I'm avoiding sitting here doing nothing. There is an auction later today in a couple of hours. Let's pull it up. No, I don't have to do that. Wait a minute. Remove ad. There we go. Wait, can I be just both us together? Come on, Jake. Boomer time. Here we go. Yes, it says in 3 hours. So that's 4 p.m. And so that's like 2.5 hours or something. Whatever. Auction coming up. I'm going to be in it. My name's right there at the middle bottom. And I've got I'm going to show you guys some pieces that I have. I've got to decide on the third one, and I've done 2 votes. So I'm going to go over that. And I've also got some more like paper to draw some extras in case. People usually throw in extras when the bids go up high enough. So I'm here preparing for the best case, whilst worrying about the worst case, which is I hold something up and you get 0 bids, and then I want to shoot myself through the fucking cranium. But hey, let's welcome people. Bancroft is in the house. Typer Wizard is gay. Hell yeah. Well, at least Bancroft's over there already checking out the stream. He's apparently up late drawing. I think it's nearly 11 or nearly 10 in Australia. So he said not that late. Hyper Wizard's here saying that he must be up late. Alex Liabi just got in the shower, so he's going full Phil mode. Phil, check his name out right there. The young Phil Diaz is also going to be on the stream. So I'm at least glad I'm going to know someone else in the stream to kind of riff off instead of feeling like, oh, sorry guys, I've never met you before. I'm a big loser doofus. But yeah, and then I tried to bully Alex into taking out payday loans because he says he has no money. And guess what? Maromi's here. Wait, Caleb is in the house. Moromi is also here. He said hello to me twice. How about that? So nice. He said hello twice. Danny Renton hasn't been here for a while. Welcome back, Danny. It's good to see you here. The Deech is in the Hize. He says, couldn't sleep. Now I'm here. Entertain me. And he says it's like 6:30 a.m. where he is. Holy crap. Yeah, like it's 11 Eastern time the auction is. And like here, it's just past midday. Like it's 11:30, so nearly 10. Do you want a guest or going solo? You can come in and hang out. Come in and hang out if you want to. You got the link. It's good to decide this early on. Do you know what I mean? Like if I get into a groove and then someone was coming up, Phil might end up coming in, so you might as well come in. And if you come in, Bancroft, then Phil, it's even higher likelihood that Phil will come in. But hail everyone! Did you catch the stream on Thursday? Couldn't believe it. We were planning on doing a rotating show for a while, and like it kind of a few weeks, and it wasn't really coming together. Well, it needed a push, right? So like, I made this animation. Here we go. Check this out. Remember this? Did you guys see this? You see this? So I made that as a way of being like, hey guys, this is like so official now. You know, we should totally do this. And it was supposed to happen the week before. And when it came together on Thursday, it was like we didn't even know who was hosting. We didn't even know who was hosting that day. So like my brain has been fucking frazzled ever before then and ever since then. I was like a deer in headlights that day. But you know what? Maybe we should get the audience's point of view by introducing our wonderful guest. It's Crofty.
Hey, Skip, what's going on? Oh, old Johnson fell down the well again?
Old Skip got run over by a truck, he did. No! How's he going to save people from the well now?
They just ripped off was it Lassie? Was that the original?
Australia's good at doing that, ripping stuff off. Like you have Taco Bill, you have Kmart that isn't Kmart.
Lassie, but it's a kangaroo. Yeah. All right, I like this. And there was Flipper as well. Flipper was the worst because he was sequestered to the sea.
Was Flipper a TV show?
Couldn't help on land. It was a TV show. Flipper. He'd just go.
Oh, I'm confusing it with Free Willy. I'm confusing it with the moment that like the whale jumps over in Free Willy.
in The Simpsons.
And I crushes it. Yes!
Didn't make it.
Only had that to bring it up. But what do you guys? I think Danny says, sorry for being MIA. Your streams were too distracting during work days and it was hurting productivity. Well, fuck you, Danny.
With a name like Danny, I'm not surprised.
Well, no, like Danny actually, the real reason why he stopped is because he didn't want to get spoiled on the Jack Show animation things too much. And we did like tons of animation streams.
Yeah, they were my least favorite of your streams, not because of any other reason other than I know exactly what it's like to make those things. You keep going over the same thing again and again and again. You keep hearing it, and I was just like, as a viewer, it's not as good as playing a game or doing it.
So it's even worse than playing a game. I get it. Okay.
Oh, I like the games.
Okay.
I like when you start yelling at the characters.
Well, that's like typical stream. Yeah, like I remember I was at what was it? Like PAX Prime in Seattle in like 2012. And I was playing some of the games, and there was like a 4-player game that was like a 4-player party game. And I was like literally screaming in the convention hall at the characters. Like I had this one that could make like an ice block as a table, and whenever it wouldn't do it whenever I pressed the button, and I kept on shouting like table. It's like the developers are like, it's not a table, it's an ice cube, and I'm like, it looks like a table. The ice looks like a tablecloth. It's a fucking table. Okay, give me a table. And then my friends were like, you should be a retard on YouTube instead of shouting out loud in public. And I was like, all right then. Danny says coloring streams the best.
Oh, well, I've got them coming up for myself. I
You
have
didn't do
4
a-
covers. Sorry?
You didn't go on, carry on. I was gonna say you didn't do a draw stream. I was feeding into what you're already about to talk about.
Yeah. I've got covers to do, and I don't want to do them on stream, really, to be honest.
You can flat.
There's a lot of pressure.
You got
There's a lot of
flat
pressure
and-
with covers.
Well, don't you want to show them off after they've been colored?
Oh yeah, no, I can show I can color them on stream, but I've got to actually draw them. Actually, and 2
Oh,
of them I want to
to.
try concept art style, which might not work. So we'll see about that.
How many covers are you actually got? You said 4. Have you got 4 to do? Or have you drawn 4?
I've got 4 to do. Yeah, I'm in the process of doing them, so that's why I haven't really been doing draw streams.
For your own books?
Yeah, well, I've got the main cover for Painted Death.
Yeah.
I want to do hard covers, so that's 2 covers.
Okay.
And I want to put an ash can of Fractured Mind in with Painted Death, so that'll need a cover as well. And I think, I'll do a cover on that. Rod Looper will do a cover, and hopefully someone else. I don't know, maybe Kenneth Rocafort. That'd be nice.
The Rocaforce, doesn't everyone just get one? With Kenneth?
Could you imagine? Look, if you can get one, get it. You never don't wait until it's the I'm going to just if you could get him to do a cover, get it.
I like how Shane cheated and got 2 by technically extending the 1 because it was just an extension. Technically, you still got 1 because that's Kenneth's rule, right?
Amazingly, didn't he say that it wasn't planned like that?
Yeah, no, he hasn't said it wasn't planned at all. What he did is he took the original cover and then he downloaded Stable Diffusion, and then he used the first one as a reference, then selected the new area and then clicked render, and then the AI made the other side.
I don't think that's true. I think you're pulling
Really?
my leg.
That's what it looks like? Do you not think it looks like it? AI? Do you know what I mean? Just click the button.
I wouldn't say Kenneth Rocafort is clicking buttons. No, that's not how I see it.
Romy says another drawing. You could win free original art. Yeah, I had that pulled up by the way yesterday, to bring up, and it never came up. I meant to do it when you raided people, but apparently I was away from the desk looking for my glasses.
Look, I have original art. How bizarre.
The people it's supposed to shift around when the comments come up. You're not supposed to get hidden away by that.
I did what you said you didn't want to do, which is filling the space too much.
Oh yeah, there's not much. No, that would look nice in a
fuck
frame.
it.
No, I think that would look good. I think I like having a bit of extra around the side. Maybe the people don't like.
Well,
that.
I think when you said it, I thought, oh yeah, you're probably right. I don't do art.
You need a negative space to frame it. But some people go all the way to the edge. It's just that when I put it in a frame, the people can't usually get a frame that exactly fits the piece. So
makes sense.
The whatever it's called, the mounting around the thing. Driving to work, the dark Jedi Bancroft. Yeah, we got Darth Bogan in the house.
Yeah. I should change my name to Darth Bogan. Hold on a sec.
But yeah, Danny says coloring streams are the best. So I haven't done a coloring stream for a while. Would you say they're your favorite ones too?
To do?
Well, no, out of the streams that we do on this channel, do you like?
On this channel,
I
like them all. I didn't have really a favorite. I mean, my least favorite was the animation ones. I'll say that.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing that again. I still need to finish it. I have just a couple of shots left, and I don't want to put people through that. But they did do pretty well. But yeah, I think some people pointed out that listening to the same voice clip for a couple of hours probably drove them mad. But I'm That's just life. That's just normal
That's-
work. Like what?
That's the animator's plight. Yeah.
Have you made any progress? You probably haven't on that Ethan clip.
When, Jake? When would I be able to have done that?
There's so much free time with the family away.
Yeah. That's what Mel said. She said you get so much drawing done. I'm like, now, I'm a good dad. I spend time with my kids, but not a like crazy amount of time. It's sort of, I'm getting back maybe what, an hour in the day.
I was going to say, you throw the ball around in the garden for 1 hour and you say to Clark, that's it. That's your hour over, kid. Back to work.
Yeah. It's like prison time. You come out into the yard and then the whistle goes and then Papa's got to go back. Sorry. But as I say to him often because I want to remind him, I say it like this: how many hours do you think my father played with me ever in my entire life? And then they don't know the answer because I've said it to them 100 times. I just do a big 0, like in the Big Short, how he holds his hand up, 0,
Bro.
0, like that. So then I get to feel good about myself.
Yeah, I think the only really time I remember spending with my dad when I was a kid was when he was shouting at me a lot to try and get me to ride a bike, and I could without stabilizers, and I kept falling off. He made me go around in circles shouting at me. It's just a lot of shouting, a lot of open palm smacking.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful
My dad put me on the bike as well, sent me down the hill, ran into a tree.
Did you run into a tree? I
didn't know how to turn.
Just none of this. You were just holding on for dear life going down here.
It's like, they were running behind me. My dad and my brother, turn. I'm like, right into a tree.
When I was a kid, I remember we were visiting someone and we took our bikes with us, but my bike for some reason didn't have any brakes on it. And anyway, we'd all like had an argument, as many arguments would happen with my family. But I remember like the driveway of this person's house was like a big fucking hill, and at the bottom was like a mini road with like thorn bushes. And I thought like, screw this, I'm going on my bike. Went on my bike, started going down the hill, realized there was no brakes. Tried to stop myself with my feet, but I wasn't wearing shoes, just wearing socks. So I went full speed into the thorn bush at the bottom of the hill.
Not having brakes on your bike was actually pretty standard if you wanted to do tricks. So I didn't have brakes on my bike either.
How does it make you do tricks better?
Well, you can't have cable brakes if you want to spin things and do all sorts of stuff. So
What did they just get in the
we all
way?
thought we were pretty cool. We didn't have any brakes.
Did you have the bars on the back seat so people could stand on?
No.
You saw that.
That's that's old.
It was all the rage when I was a kid, apparently,
Really?
and that was like, yeah. I mean, that was probably when the X Games were. I didn't really know about the X Games until I was older, and like the only extreme sport I remember seeing was like extreme ironing, where people would like iron like while surfing or something, and like I'm not sure if that was a joke or a
What do you
parody.
mean extreme ironing?
You never heard of extreme ironing?
Thankfully not.
Extreme ironing X Games. Wait. Yeah. Look, they iron in all just crazy places. Look. I'm gonna fucking bring it up. Share this tab instead. Look, it's extreme ironing. This guy's ironing on a mountainside. These people are ironing in the sky. It's extreme ironing.
That is not extreme sports. Extreme sports is so funny. It's such a marketing term. It's so untrue.
Do you not think this is an extreme sport that Mel could get into?
Well, if I suggested that, she might throw the iron at my face. She's not a fan of ironing. She does it purely out of necessity.
I have an iron. I have an ironing board, but Rarely did,
I haven't
rarely
ironed
did the two meet.
Yeah. I don't think I'll get it out either. I think I always figure, look, I'll put something in the dryer that'll get enough of the crinkles out, and then I'll wear it for a few hours. That should smooth it out, and then I'll be good. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's
As long as you take stuff out of the dryer quick enough and like hang them up, then they will be warm, and then I guess they could sag.
I'm not doing that.
But speaking of crisp, flat, fresh clothing, I guess I should probably go over what I'm actually gonna do at the auction today. Do you want to see? I still haven't made my final choice. I've got to
put
choose
yourself in that position so the drawing part is big. Do you have to have whatever? I mean, do you have to fancy. Moving around. Do you have to buy the top to do the StreamYard to be able to have two videos?
Oh no. So this is in another browser. I've got Firefox.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, you got two. Yeah, I see. Yeah, that's what I do as well. Yeah.
But I think if I did have the top one, I would probably be able to just add it, and it would be like a shareable thing potentially instead of like another camera. Because like this is some fuckery using like custom layouts and stuff. Like I was watching Ethan doing a draw stream yesterday, and I was like, I wish you had my custom layout, then you can make it full screen. But whatever, who cares? But yeah, you know, the auction is in not long, a couple of hours time. It says 3 hours. It's probably 2.5 still. And the two pieces I have chosen to auction, well, I've got to choose 3, but I've got to have the original Peony Reenie and the original Gay Vampire Shane Davis. And I even have a verbal handshake with Shane. Shane's okay with me selling this, basically. I asked him. And I'm sure Reenie's okay with this. I haven't asked her.
She's still hanging out with you. That was a fun show, by the way. You guys must be really happy with how, like, the sort of, you know, there's a lot of people there. It was fun.
We hit like 221 viewers max.
Yeah, that's massive.
It was really fucking good. Like, I was very proud of it. I felt like I wasn't in the moment. I felt like I wasn't doing a good enough job. I watched it back today on mute and read all of the chat, and like the chat was absolutely amazing. Like the chat for that stream was, I'm very grateful to all of them. There was so many funny comments. Like I still need to improve at holding conversation, running a stream, and like keeping an eye on chat. I think I was at least bringing up comments for the first half. And I noticed John was in the chat complaining about not having a wrench, and then everyone was saying, "Ball and move, Jake, not wrenching John." And I'm like, guys, John's never ever been on my channel before. How does he expect to have a wrench?
Over about 150. If you've got a few people talking, it's just the chat is sort of, it becomes unmanageable to be pulling stuff up. And
yeah, it was a struggle enough trying to think of things to say, because like, okay, a hangout stream where you're saying whatever, I feel like I can do that. Then when we're bringing up topics and having to think of stuff, I'm like, holy shit, I'm actually stupid. I'm actually retarded. Like,
no, you're smarter than what you think you are. It happens to me all the time. Where, especially if you're making more than one point at the end of a sort of an argument, it'll just fall out of my head, and it's really frustrating when that happens. But I think when you turn on the stream, you lose 10 IQ points, and then involve the chat, involve it's the multitasking. It really is. I don't think it's good for us, actually. I think I read that somewhere.
Is it? Do you think it causes dementia? You're gonna be
I mean, I'm worried. Yeah, like sometimes I'll forget people's names, and they say, "Oh, that's the start of dementia," and I'm like, oh, I remember reading somewhere. It's like, don't multitask too much. It's like, well, I do that for an hour, pretty much, 4 days a week. And
Oh my god, yes, you doing it all the time like that. I mean, on a cozy stream like this, 5 people watching, like we're gonna get a couple of chats in every now and then, and it's like great. Do you know what I mean? Like I can react to Moromi talking about front cable brake routed through the headset.
yeah, that is true. That
Lets
is
you
true.
spin the front tire without restriction. Wait, through the headset, you get like brakes on your
Through
face?
the main kind of thing that the front wheel sits on.
Oh, is that
What do you
called
mean?
the headset?
What do you mean multitasking is a myth? Explain yourself.
I'm
More
gonna
in-
assume he technically means you're not doing 2 tasks at once. You're switching between multiple tasks, but then that is multitasking, being able to switch.
Yeah,
between
I mean that's
multiple
my
quickly, right?
understanding. It's like you're doing, multiple things at the same time. Now, technically, yes, it's not at the exact same time, but just say if you're running a stream, you have to deal with the chat, you have to hold the conversation, maybe you're bringing up videos, all that sort of stuff. Now, yes, it's not happening at the exact same time, but it's happening all at once. That doesn't the English language is insufficient to explain what I'm trying to say here, but I think you get what I mean.
You need to start making up new words like artisanal and Asperger.
You aren't giving 100% to more than one thing. No, obviously not. But no, it's like driving a car is a form of multitasking because there's a steering wheel, especially if you're driving a
But
manual.
that's just one task called driving.
Exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. So with the streaming, it's like that as well. It's the one task streaming.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you're looking at the chat, you're looking at the chat. But then you have to also remember that you're talking to someone or whatever. But either way, there becomes a point where it's not tenable. You're not going to be able to hit. So, but you can still have the chat involved with, I think, up to about 150, 200 people in there to a degree.
Even though it was, I was still keeping an eye on. I still did manage to keep an eye on it, but obviously I missed some stuff while I was trying to think. But like, I wish I could even give 10% of my brain to any one of those tasks. I'd even drank. Like I drank a bunch of Jaeger because I was a bit nervous because I was hosting the first one, and I was like, have a little drink. And then I think basically 10 minutes in, I realized, wait a minute, I shouldn't have drank Jägermeister. I can't think. But it was.
Yeah.
It was good. Michael D just says
It takes practice.
I think it was really great for my first time doing that. But like I don't feel bad about it at all. Like I had an amazing time and I thought it was a great show. And like the chat was amazing and it seemed like they're having fun and like people have said it was good. So like I'm looking forward to the future ones. I mean, if it's gonna loop around, so it'll be like I think it's Phil next week. And then it's either Narwhal again or Rini. That it's either them two, and then it'll go back. So that's literally 3 weeks where I'll be able to just hang out as a guest on the show and like get a bit more comfortable with it. Then when it comes back around and I get to do another one, I think it'll be fucking on point, fucking there. My favorite part of the show is when we were talking about video games and Rini got extremely excited, but then she realized we were talking about video games and not tabletop games, and then she was like, "Oh."
So she's into like D&D and stuff, isn't she? She pretends to be characters and stuff.
She likes role play.
I find that unusual, but
What do you find unusual about it?
They wrote me into it once.
Who's they?
Smiling Bandito.
Yeah.
Shay.
Yeah.
Who else was there? A couple of others were there. And they're like, come on and we're going to do a role-playing game, but with our characters. And I said, you realize I've never done that before, ever. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's about. And he said, you'll pick it up. It'll be fine. I get on a stream. And Bandito was the fucking, I don't know, dungeon master, whatever the hell it was. He was the one who was telling the story, and I'm just sitting there like, this is the nerdiest shit I've ever experienced. And
What
it's
was
happening on
nerdy
a
about it?
stream.
Just hearing someone do an audiobook intro, like you walk into a cave, the mist.
Yeah, like that shit. I'm like, and he's like, so what do you do? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. What are you talking about? What do you mean? What do I do?
Dude,
What do you mean?
Did you really not have any preparation for what people do at those? Because I've never been invited either. By the way, like the thing is, we're different, right? I've always wanted to be invited to that shit and to have fun doing it, and you're like, don't want anything to do with it, and you get roped into it. To me, if you take away the map, okay, this is all I ever want to fucking do. I want some guy who has a story and he's written it, and then I want to walk in and I want to piss that guy off by doing everything wrong, and then I want to like say, well, my character does this because he's blah 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 and funny and cool, and then roll a dice to see if it works or not, and then like the game.
That was the thing. I don't know the rules. Is this?
Yeah,
can I do anything? Like what?
As soon as it comes to numbers, as soon as they start talking about numbers and fucking stats and shit, I'm like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah, well, that's what it was,
No.
obviously. So, I just sat there and I'm like, all right, well, I'll just sit here politely while they do their thing.
Did you do any work?
I can't remember. And it went, and I didn't remember what happened, and I was just like, well, all right. I mean, I guess I just didn't know. I just didn't know the rules. I didn't know. It didn't feel like a game. It just felt like one guy telling a story in front of 3 other people.
I suppose. But like, have you ever played a game like Skyrim?
No.
You really?
Well,
Wait, do you
I
like,
don't know what's
do you think
Skyrim.
fantasy's gay? Do you like fantasy at all, or do you think it's gay?
What do you mean fantasy? I've been watching Lord of the Rings. Is that fantasy?
Oh yeah, you do like fantasy. Okay. So like, have you ever played Fallout?
No.
You ever played any open world game?
What, like?
Like Super Mario World? Like, that's a big open world.
What's that thing in South Park? It's like, this is the end of the world.
Oh,
of
Warcraft. Yeah.
No, I've not played anything like that.
That's an MMO. That's a massively multiplayer online game, but it is indeed an open world game. No, an open world game is like if it was set in the world of Deploria, which is the world of Connell the Barbarian, you would have like all of the world as one big, Breath of the Wild?
No.
What the fuck, man? I really wish you had a Switch so we could play fucking video games together online.
I know Mario.
Mario's on the Switch. Like, okay, actually,
That's what I'm saying. That's the game I know. I know Mario.
Okay, you should get a Switch.
Sonic.
You should get Mario World 3D that's on there, and you can 4-player co-op online, and like it's so fun. It really is fun. Okay, imagine a Mario level like from those old games, but it's in 3D or whatever, and you have like 4. You can have up to 4 players, and it would be like Mario, Luigi, Toad, Peach. And you like run around a level, and you have to like cooperatively. Sometimes you can fuck each other over as well. Whoever wins the level gets the crown, and then you have the scores that come up at the end. And the one who wins gets the fucking crown. And then like if you get hit in the level, you lose the crown, and someone can go and pick up the crown. So you can have a fight over the crown.
Yeah, I like it. Sounds good.
Good, we convinced Bancroft.
It's just not sound anything like what I was doing on that stream, though.
No, that's not an open world game. That's a level-based game. An open world game is you have the whole world mapped out. So you'd have like the world of Deploria, and you would start like in my hometown, and then you'd have the whole hometown, and you can go into the buildings and talk to people. Like people be walking around, you just talk to them, and then they'd have like a conversation tree, and you can like rob them.
Like Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Red Dead's an open world game. But
I didn't play that either, but I know of it.
A D&D campaign is from South Park. You just know all.
Yeah, they played it in that as well.
So draw. I need to think of stuff to draw on these extra. I don't think people are gonna bid on my pieces, so I don't think there's any point. I'm worried that I'm not going to sell anything. I'm worried that I'm going to hold something open. People will be like, crickets. But who knows?
Well, if people bid like $10, does that mean they sell?
I guess if I don't set a reserve, then yes. But then hopefully someone will be like, 10? Well, how about I go 20? That's still nothing. And then I'd be like, $100 packaging, please.
How much do you want? How much would you want for them? Can you set a reserve? Is that a thing? I don't really watch auction streams because I know I'm never going to buy anything.
You might be able to. I think if you mention at the beginning, I'm sure I'll pick that up on the stream. I just don't want to be the first person to go first. That would suck, but no, my luck. Alex says, it work. Kick Darth Bogan. He's evil. It's not that evil.
I'm not evil. I'm just ignorant of these things.
He's morally ambiguous.
Exactly.
Well, the D&D campaign is basically they've figured out there's a world you're in, and they have the story that they've kind of plotted out, and they start you in the story, and you kind of like walk through it. You know ChatGPT?
Mm-hmm.
So I was once using ChatGPT in the way that I wanted to do D&D, right? Like, I fuck all the numbers shit and fuck the gear and everything. I just typed to it and said, listen, we're going to do an RPG thing. You're going to describe the part of the story. I'm going to take an action, and then you're going to tell me the next part of the story. And then I sat there, like I went into this fucking farm. I was like lost in a cave, and then I left the cave, and I found some like farm where there was this like husband and wife, and then like their 20-something daughter, and then I'm like flirting and hanging out with the daughter, and then eventually like convince them to let me take her into town, and then I bought a hypnosis amulet.
This all makes sense to me because that's an unknown. Whereas I think with this D&D stuff, it's already all written, isn't it?
I guess, yeah. So I've never experienced it.
It doesn't really make sense to me because it's like reading a story, but you're just pretending that you're in it. You can just read it, you know?
I suppose they're trying to survive the story. Maybe that's what it is. But I love the idea of just making it up as I go, but maybe that's not what people do. Like,
now Alex says, maybe you're chaotic neutral. Can you explain that to me? I see that around sometimes on the internet. I'm lawful good or some shit. I have no idea what any of it means.
So the way I understand it is lawful is like da rules. What are da rules? Rules.
Mm-hmm.
And then chaotic is like fuck your rules. I'll do
nihilist.
Yeah, like crazy, like unpredictable wild card. And then like good, neutral, and evil is how you'd expect. Like chaotic evil is like, well, I'm just gonna burn this village for no reason, and now I'm gonna like create a new race of like human monkey hybrids and then make them invade the Antarctic and like beat the shit out of all the penguins, like for no reason. And I guess lawful evil will be, I have taken over the kingdom, and I am instated as the new king, and my new decree will be that I will take one virgin woman from each town and bed her, like that. I guess lawful good.
You would have been good as a dungeon master with all your voices.
Yeah, I'll be like, all of your clothes disappear.
Have you seen Extras? Have I talked to you about that? Extras?
You love I love how often you bring up Ricky Gervais stuff. But go on.
No, I love that scene where I do love Ricky Gervais, but I love that scene with Patrick Stewart where it's like, and then her knickers come down.
Yes, I remember that. Yes. I think I'm too retarded to be a game master because like they're the one doing all the numbers, right? I couldn't do that. Maybe I should make up a way of thinking about doing a really simplified game, like tabletop experience where like people got to just say stuff and then I'd sit there and think of what happened next, and then they'd be able to think and react. But I really like making it stuff on the fly. I was thinking about this when I was watching that show back, and I was like, wait a minute, this is a memory game. My memory is terrible. Like when it comes to
Do you not have a good memory?
No, I think my memory is good with specific things, but remembering the kind of stuff where you have to think about, like, this happened in this show, and this was good because they did this. And instead, like, I'm really good at just making stuff up. Like, I can improvise pretty quickly, and if someone
You're
is
good
like
at rapping, then
kind of ish, I'm not fast enough to do rapping. But Finatra was doing a stream once, and they were doing rapping, and I was sitting there drawing, and I just thought of different fucking lyrics, and I came in and said the lyrics super quick and then left.
Kids are really impressed when you can rhyme things. I'm not saying like do it really fast like rapping, but just, you know, come up with a limerick or something like that on the spot. They think that's magic, and they just
it kind of is magic, though. I mean, it's like that's potentially why callbacks are so good. It's like a rhyme of reality itself. By the way, callbacks and setups and payoffs. Mario movie. I can't believe you got to wait a month. I can't believe you got to wait.
Oh no. And everyone's talking to me about it.
Just
These Mario shorts are like I mean, if all you wanted were views, if that was your goal,
yeah,
printing money. Unfortunately, shorts don't pay hardly anything, but
if you were doing a review,
God.
I suppose people doing reviews. I mean, even my old Mario short keeps getting views now. I think you got 200 in like last 48 hours.
I hit the first one. The first one passed 1 million. The other two are on well over 100 each, and then even today's one is already over 10, which is very unusual. So it was the same with Hogwarts Legacy. It's just like
it's.
Alex says the
What are your
voices are all wrong. Yeah, he said that.
See, I'm trying
But
to.
Alex, did you see it? Did you see it, Alex?
It seems
Can't
like he
remember if he
has.
said he
He's
saw
talked
it.
about it quite a bit. It seems like he might have. Did you go in your own on it?
No, I thought he said he was gonna wait till it comes out on streaming. What did you say? Sorry.
I was it was a nested of things. Originally I was just gonna ask what is your view on it from the outside, not having, because I wanna know what how you think and feel about it, so I can like talk around what you already know.
I mean, look, I saw the first, few minutes or whatever. Obviously I've probably seen a lot more of it than most people have who haven't watched it. Certainly thought about it. They put that up on YouTube.
Oh, how much? Oh, how much have they put up of it then? Wait a minute.
Sort of. You see Bowser coming in. You see the Mario and that. I didn't actually watch it.
Mario.
Yeah, I didn't actually watch it properly though, because I don't want to start and then go, oh, I really want to go see this. But I've seen it. I've looked at it.
What expectations do you have around it? Yeah, Alex VOB saying he's waiting. Well, fuck you, Alex. You don't know shit. I've seen it.
All right. Calm down.
I'm joking.
But what expectations? I mean, similar to how when I went into Sonic. I'm expecting to go in. I expect there to be sort of light-hearted, childish laughs along the way. And then there's going to be some sort of threat. I imagine it's going to be Bowser. And they're going to train and fight. And then ultimately win. That's pretty much all I expect.
It's actually not as kiddie as you'd think it would be. But it's also not gritty, but it's just I was actually worried because I went with my niece, right? And I was worried at the start. She's about 7. I was worried because I was watching it and the cinema was a bit quiet and there was stuff happening at the beginning that was setting up their characters and stuff, and I'm like, man, if this doesn't pick up soon, they're gonna be. She's gonna start asking me questions about random shit instead of watching the film. Like she's gonna start running around. So like I was worried that it wasn't really gonna grab him in, but like it does start pulling them in. About halfway through, there are some big laughs. You know that little blue, from the trailer, that little blue flame character.
Yes, the one in the cage.
I would be interesting to see. Like I think that ends up being the kids' favorites.
Yeah,
and like there are a lot of interesting setups and payoffs. I did in my tweet. I did say that like I wish there was more decisions being made, because sometimes it does feel like there's just, we've got to go here and do this to meet these characters.
Passive.
Yeah, it's like we need to go to this place to meet these characters because they're in the franchise. Do you know what I mean? And like we need to team up with them. And in fact, Alex VRB saying the voice is all wrong. I really thought I wouldn't like Seth Rogen. I thought that would really rub me off because I'm very audio sensitive. I'm very, especially to voice actors. Like I can pick out a voice actor. If I'm watching a random thing and I've seen something with them in before, I can always pinpoint the same voice actor, even if they're doing a slightly different voice and stuff. But so I thought Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong was gonna really get under my skin, and like he actually didn't. Like I was actually okay with it. He didn't. You always feel like with Seth, he's gonna have center stage, and then you're gonna be annoyed because he's gonna be like, "I'm in the middle, I'm the center of attention, but I'm acting like I don't." Yeah.
What's his laugh? How does he do it? Yellowfish did it great.
I wish Jack Black's performance had been pushed more. It's Jack Black. You're expecting like, yo, I'm Jack Black and I'm gonna fucking destroy everything, and it's like it's turned it down a little bit, but it was good. Anyone who likes Mario who doesn't go and see it is a loser, because it is fun. Rogan,
good, because I like the Sonic movies. I like the first one better, but I didn't dislike the second one. I just like the first one better.
It's better than this. It's better than the Sonic movies.
Oh well, if it's better than the Sonic movies, fantastic. Because I'm really not that's pretty much all I need. I don't.
There really isn't any story. And when I'm talking about story, I'm talking about the development of a person, like development of a character. Yeah. Like
no, that's fine. I'm not bothered by that.
Yeah, but that's just why, like, if you don't know Mario, you wouldn't get anything from it. And like, I can't believe you got to wait a month. The annoying thing is, I've got to wait a month to hear what you think about it.
And by the time I see it, you're like, I didn't care. It was like another month ago.
I'll still care. I actually will still care.
I'm actually so looking forward to it because I have such great memories of taking Victoria to see Trolls and Moana, Moana ended up being my favorite movie pretty much of that decade.
Do you know, are they making a live action Moana now, by the way?
Yes.
It's the same people. The same
it's
people.
12 years old, and it's a perfect movie. It's absolutely perfect.
I do remember going to the cinema and loving it. I was there with my sister and my niece, and when the Shiny song came on, they both looked at me and like, "That's you," and I'm like,
I once would have been able to sing you that song off by heart.
It's so rare. Like my memory shit. Welcome, Zombie Boy. Hey, Zombie Boy, I think came in for the pre-ejaculation show, so I'm glad you're coming in for another stream. We're just hanging out. There's an auction that I'm gonna on the screen that I'm gonna be on in like just under 2 hours, and I have got a subject to talk about, but yeah, I'm trying to pick the third piece because I've had a couple of votes and I'm gonna look at the votes, but I guess we're talking about Moana. Like, was there a good Disney film after Moana? People loved Encanto, but I thought Encanto was a bit lame.
I
but
never
like,
watched Encanto, and I feel like it was just a bit of a hype machine. I know kids love it, but kids also love Frozen. So,
was Frozen that bad? I remember.
yes, rewatch it.
Yeah, maybe.
It's not a movie. It's not
Maybe
a
it's
movie.
better.
It's not a story. It's, I mean, everything that made Moana just phenomenal. Frozen had none of it. None of it.
What made Moana phenomenal?
Her character, the whole
Moody?
arc of the whole story, the way it was set up. You know what I love about Moana, and I kicked myself that I hadn't thought of this. Moana is a bit like a Chosen One story, with a really, really sophisticated mechanism of how it works. So she is an independent living in a world of conformists, and you know, especially since she's the daughter of the chief, and the chief is the main guy who's pushing all this conformity. So there's that automatically straight away there's that tension there, and that tension drives her to seek out the ocean, and then in just a random act of childhood kindness, the ocean recognizes something in her and gives her something. And then her father like snaps her up, so she loses what the ocean gave her. So, and she was like a toddler; she could barely walk at that time. She internalized that longing for something that was missing, which was an actual thing that the ocean gave her. But she'd forgotten that ever happened, but she remembered this longing to be in the ocean and to see what's out there. And so, and as she grew, that sort of it kind of twisted in her head to she wants to see what's actually out there and go and explore, which is just, I mean, to me, that's just like one of the best motivations I've ever seen, because at what I think is the true climax of the film was when she sees the ghost of her grandmother, and she's like, oh, this thing that I've been searching for out here, there's nothing out here. It was inside me the whole time. And that's when she has, and that's how she can become the hero. And I thought it was just immaculate storytelling, beautifully done. The music, that's the thing, like the thing about musicals, that it's like, oh man, musicals are so lame.
They're the best. What do you mean?
No,
they're implicitly the best. The South Park movie is a fucking musical.
The difference is when the music is good, like not Frozen, not, I don't know, some crap.
Frozen was just pop music.
It's just let it go. Okay, I get it's like a pop song. No, I'm talking about a real story song, like we used to have.
I can see what's happening here. Something strange. I'm just a rock singing a song, and I've got lots of muscles on, or whatever. I wish I could remember all the lyrics. The only lyrics I can ever remember to a song is from the fucking Team America. I miss you more than Michael Bay missed the mark when he made Pearl Harbor. I miss you more than that movie missed the point.
So many classics.
And that's an awful lot, girl. And now you've gone away. And I'm just here to say the Pearl Harbor sucked. Doon, and I miss you. Why does Michael Bay get to keep on making movies?
That was one of the best experiences I've ever had in a cinema.
Oh, it was so
watching Team America, because we were all out skating, a whole bunch of us, and our girlfriends were there and everything, and we were out having dinner, and we were like, Team America's out, let's go. And I don't know why, but there was no one at the cinema except for a few couples at the back, and they were dead quiet the whole time, and we were like, what is wrong with them? We were, because when you're laughing with a whole bunch, we were pissing out. We were bent over in tears the whole movie, and
it was such
God,
it was such an inspirational catalyst for like making stuff. Like, it wasn't just amazingly funny, just the creativity of the puppets too. And like, I always wished they'd done action figures of the characters, and they never fucking did. Like, two of my favorite films that I actually wanted figures from, Team America and Small Fucking Soldiers. They never made the soldiers from Small Fucking Soldiers. This is where someone says they did, and then they link it. But like, I never got that shit. I had what? Flick from A Bug's Life as a room guard? Fuck you, Flick.
How do you remember the characters' names from A Bug's Life?
Flick and Princess Atta. See, this is what I mean about my memory. I can't remember good shit. I remember the bad shit that was programmed into my head by fucking Disney. And the fucking hands, the chubby caterpillar. Ooh! Whatever he says.
Oh, God,
I'm a beautiful butterfly. Oh, I probably remember all the plots to the fucking Thomas the Tank Engine episodes as a kid.
Do you ever watch that? Is it Fireman Sam?
Oh, that was so gay. That was so gay. Fireman Sam, it's coming to town.
No, it's set in Wales, yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty sure. Yeah, and so they speak with this crazy accent.
quick. What?
And then and the voice actors are just nuts. And I'm like, I don't even know if I want my children watching this. Like, you're gonna go to the
Here, Sam! Sam! Oh, Sam! There's a fire! Oh, Sam! Oh, Sam!
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was pretty great. Did you ever watch? So you had Fireman Sam, and I thought.
Well, no, my kid. It's you know, I know this stuff because of my kids. Well, I had Thomas the Tank Engine, obviously, when I was a kid. But Fireman Sam.
Do you get the
to
British
me,
Thomas the Tank Engine or the American one?
I didn't even know there was an American one.
Apparently, it was voiced by George Carlin, and then he redubbed his old clips, and you get stuff like this.
Masturbation is not illegal, replied the conductor. But if it were, people would probably take the law into their own hands.
Excuse me, sir. Please look in the tank and tell me what you see. Certainly, Inspector, replied Sir Topham Hatt. He clambered up, looked in, and nearly fell off in surprise.
Someone defecating.
Did you know?
I don't know whether or not to believe you.
No, I think he did. Am I right, chat? Or have I completely fucked it up? I got even more clips of that.
Thomas is a tank engine who lives at a big station on the island of Sodor.
He could eat a whole bowl of alphabet soup and then vomit up the vowels and consonants separately. He could speak 7 languages, but unfortunately he was disliked in all those countries.
You see, I've got.
I remember Thomas with I don't know who voiced it, but he's like the Fat Controller. Where he was very angry today.
That was probably Ringo Starr. The Fat Controller was a complete tosser, and he thought Thomas hadn't been doing enough work, so he sent him to the mines.
Oh no!
Oh no! Said Thomas. Thomas, you have not done enough work, so I'm sending you to the face removal factory. Thomas had a look of shock on his face as his eyes went round and round in circles 50 times. But I don't want to go to the face removal factory. Tough, you signed a contract when you came to the Isle of Sodor. You will have your face removed, and then we'll put salt on the open flesh, and it will really hurt. Thomas had
weird.
spent several hours at the face removal factory, and he was not much pleased. Yeah, I think that was Ringo Starr from L Beatles. Yeah, and Alex Philby says that's how I remember it. He did narration as punishment for his 7 words. Wait, really? I actually think that might be true because I've heard of that before. Moromi is saying apparently, right, as I remember it, I think George Carlin did some kind of like offensive thing.
7 words you can't say on television.
Yeah, and then like what? As part of apologizing, he had to do the voiceover for Thomas the Tank Engine, and then ended up making an offensive dub. That's funny. If you, I don't know if you saw these old. You know what? I can go to this view. I can put me here. How about that? The original Thomas illustrated books. Like I got this huge hardback thing. The fucking drawings of the trains are the best, man. Like the shit-eating fucking expressions and like how weirdly eerie. Let's find a good one.
Is this Thomas made by one person or?
It was made by a reverend who wrote some books, and I think he got an illustrator to do some paintings. And then like it was just a series of like British kids books. I can't really fucking. Oh, it's really hard to. Wait a minute. What am I doing? I've got a whole fucking camera set up for this shit. I've literally got a whole fucking thing. Turn it all up to the camera. We're still blurry. We're like complete bastards. Look, oh no, he's fallen into the fucking water.
These things.
Oh, I was obsessed with them as a kid, man. Like,
yeah, we have a Thomas the Tank Engine at a toy store here that you can go and sit in.
In England, they used to take us. There would be a real full size one at a train in a train place somewhere, and you'd go and you're like, I want to go and ride Thomas. Like, look at this cunt. This dickhead. Get out of my way! This is my railway.
You can't tell me what to do. I'm a fucking steam engine.
Fill me up with coal,
you bitch.
I'll run you over. Just lie down in front of me and I'll slice you into 3 pieces. I've always wanted to do a parody of Thomas the Tank Engine, by the way. A stop motion animation version. And I've planned out the articulation for the trains as well. And like basically it would be kind of like Team America, but with Thomas trains. And you'd have the wheel base, right? Then the top of the train, you would have it like set up so it can move around independently. So there's like a bit of swing and sway, so they can like lean into each other and like look at each other and taunt each other like that, or like raise up in fear. And then like you could have a claymation face, and then like make
it's like something you could possibly do so much easier and quicker 3D. Using 3D animation. And even now, you could make it look like claymation these days.
Yeah. That would be a dream project if I ever got to.
Remember?
Go on.
I was just gonna say, remember when the Lego movie came out? For a good 5 minutes, I was like, "Is this stop motion?" It can't be because it's too clean, but the textures just look crazy, and the way that they did it, it's like
they, they normal mapped on fingerprints.
Yeah.
On the figurines, as if they were being moved. Like they actually added fingerprint reflections to the Lego characters to make them look.
Yeah, stuff like that. It was like really. Ooh. That was a great movie too. I love that one.
I thought it was good. People don't rate the second one that highly, but like,
I don't know either.
It was great.
It was alright.
By the way, the
Ninjago was even good. That was weird.
Oh, you watched Ninja? Wait, you have kids, so they're probably watching it, right?
Yeah. Well, I used to work in a toy section, so I knew all these things from years ago. But yeah, no, I probably wouldn't have watched it if not for the kids.
I remember when I used to play on our old Let's Play channel, we'd play a lot of the Lego games and rip on how shit they were. because the later ones were bad, like Lego Dimensions, where it was like every IP. And I remember this moment where I was complaining about like, why do Lego games always have their own, like, have to be a licensed IP? Why don't you make up your own thing, Lego? And then that was just before we went into the Ninjago section, and that is one of their original IPs. And I was like, I'm skipping this shit. Like, it's like, wait a minute, you were just asking for this, you dickhead.
Oh, that's the way the consumer works.
Oh, apparently the same team that made the Spider-Verse movie. Oh, you know what I wanted to mention to you actually about watching fucking This Is the Best. This is the best. I was gonna type it. This. I'm glad you're here because I get to say it. I was gonna DM you, but right, we're sitting there waiting for the fucking Mario movie to start. It's playing the trailers. It plays the trailer for the new Little Mermaid, right? And I'm there with the 7-year-old kid next to me. And we're watching it, and she's like, you know, I'm sitting there trying to think, like, okay, if I didn't hear all the online who-suffers about this saying she had like 10 miles between each of her eyes, and like it all looks the crap. I was like, you know what? If I'm going to take away that they're obviously race swapping for an agenda or blah 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 blah, what do I actually think of this, and what would a kid think of this, right? So I'm watching the trailer, and I'm like, it's not actually that dim. Like, maybe the videos on the internet loaded were like more dimmer, and I was like, Anyway, the trailer finishes, and really loud in the silence, she says, "She doesn't look like Ariel at all." She doesn't even, her hair isn't that color. And I'm like, it's the first time she'd seen it, and I just started fucking laughing out loud. And I was like, yeah, you're not wrong. She's like, why are you laughing? I'm like, you're not exactly wrong, are you?
That's how I kickstarted my channel. Was playing.
It's that video popped up a couple of times. It's the Thundercats Roar.
And people thought, you know, this is actually why I stopped. I didn't do it. I was with her initially just because I felt awkward being on the camera by myself, and I thought, oh, that's a fun thing to do. People thought I'd coached her or something.
You're one of those helicopter parents with like a cat.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, he told her what to say and made her act. I'm like, what? Okay, I'm not doing this with my
because sadly, a lot of the internet is that in the influencer space when they bring their kids in.
Yeah, it's like I can't even get her to make that face ever. That was completely spontaneous, and that was her reaction. So. Yeah, so it was Thundercats and then Sonic.
Did she like Sonic, or did you show her Freak Sonic?
No, I showed her Freak Sonic. I showed her the good Sonic, and then I showed her the Freak Sonic. And I didn't tell her anything about either of them beforehand. She was just like, she saw the Freak Sonic and she went like that. She's like, that's scary. And she would have been about 7 at the time.
My niece is obsessed with Sonic.
Yeah, Clark is as well. He runs everywhere he goes. He goes like this. If he wants to run fast, he puts his hands behind his back like Sonic.
Yeah, he does the Natoro run.
Sonic speed, and then just run.
That's amazing.
Pretty cute.
They're rejuvenating. The kind of shit kids do is very rejuvenating for the soul. Like, oh yeah, I used to do stupid stuff like that too. I'm sure I mentioned it before, but like how I used to just fucking twerk in people's faces and sing a little song as a kid to irritate them. And if I did it now, people would be like, "You taught your child how to twerk?" It's like, nah, man. I just wanted to rub my bum in people's faces.
That's the thing. So many things that are just sort of everything got politicized. Everything.
Yeah.
And it's a real bummer.
Well, that's what I was trying to do when I was watching the Little Mermaid trailer. I was like, okay, look, pretend all that stuff. Pretend you haven't had all that shit in talk. You haven't heard any of that. And like, it was okay. But yeah, hearing in the silence after, just completely unprovoked, she doesn't look like the Little Mermaid at all. And her hair isn't that color. Like, literally had made a second separate point about the hair being wrong. Like, oh man, fucking funny.
Yeah, kids are like that. They're very honest, and they notice things that obviously they don't know they're not really supposed to say out loud in polite company yet. I can't remember if it was Clark or Victoria, to the city, Melbourne City once. And I don't know if you know this, but you walk around most of the city in Melbourne, 95% of the faces you're going to see are Asian. That's where all of the, Chinese students live and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, people get shocked by that when they see it. They don't know that's the thing. Clark had, never seen so many Asians before. So he just blurted out loud. It's like, why does everyone look like that? Or something. I was like,
When I was a kid, my mom had a really good friend called Dulcie, who was like African woman, and she had dreads. And like she used to take me around, and I'd like look at her hair and grab her hair and says, "Why is your hair like rug? Like, why have you got rug hair?" But it was funny. Like everyone laughed.
Yeah, that was a thing in, I don't know if one of my favorite movies when I was a kid, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. That was the thing in that movie too, where the little girl comes up to Morgan Freeman and says, "Did God paint you?" And he laughs.
Nice.
Today they would be like, your child is what have you been teaching your child?
Yeah, well, you've that's a learned thing. It's like, no. They don't see that isn't coming from a racist point of view. No one's taught them any racism. They're just making normal human observation. Although there was near where I grew up, there was a pub called the Labor in Vain, and the sign, the artwork above the sign for the pub was like a white woman washing a black child in like a bathtub. So the name, the Labor in Vain, obviously they were trying to wash the black off. And that pub didn't rebrand for a very long time. It might even still have the same name, but like, yeah, just those little things in the background the whole time. Speaking of things in the background the whole time, I've had 2 votes up for like since last night for the final piece, because I wasn't sure. I've got to do 3. I know which.
I voted for Bender.
Yeah, you're a Bender voter.
Well, I was just thinking for you, really. I mean, I think most people would be familiar with that and maybe want that more than anything else.
Maybe. But yeah, like I did a vote on the Tweedles too. And if I refresh this, actually, the thing is, I think Bender might have won. So
am I hearing seagulls?
Yes. I don't live by the sea.
Near the sea?
No, I don't live by the sea. They come inland sometimes. Like England's pretty small, so. But yeah, you did hear seagulls.
Victoria calls them beach birds.
Beach birds.
That was very cute.
Does any culture eat seagulls? Does any culture eat wild birds?
I'm sure the Chinese would. The Chinese will eat literally anything. But
we eat dirt water out of drain.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But yeah, so on Twitter, there's only 15 votes, and it was like a toss-up between Bazooka EVS and Bender. So that's like what? Should we say it's 5? What's 40% of 15? Like, I guess 7 or something? What's half of... I'm so bad at numbers. Half of 15
Are you asking me?
No, I'm trying to... No, I'm asking you to fumble it with me so we both look like absolute doofuses. I'm guessing that's like 6 votes, and then like over on the YouTube vote. By the way, fucking 31 votes. You guys are the best. Like people, I love the
YouTube YouTube community tab is friggin' awesome. You get so much interaction there.
But like, so 31, and then it's got 39% of that. You know, Halloween the Fuckubus did much better here, and EVS did. It is so interesting. EVS lost this poll, but EVS won this poll on Twitter.
Yeah, that's why you do have to poll on both. And I don't know if anyone really cares on Facebook, but I don't know, I'm not on Facebook anyway. So, but yeah, you do. I've noticed that as well. Different crowds.
Yeah, and no one liked the Fuckubus one on there either, even though it. But yeah, so if I go over to here, I think I might be choosing Bender as the third piece.
It's a great piece too.
Do you like it? I think it's good.
Yeah. It's very Benderish.
He's throwing up, and I need to have a calculator and an alarm clock and also an eyeball. So funny.
I love this. I love the episode where Fry comes to live with him in his little closet.
Yeah.
And then at the end is like, oh, you can go. His apartment that you can stay in, but get my closet, and it's an apartment.
It's the whole apartment, and that would be like every single one of the robots on those floors would have a whole apartment as a closet as well.
Yeah.
But I also have these pieces, so just in case any of them do go for enough, like if there is a bidding war on the Peony Ring.
Yeah, usually, you get it, right? Yeah, so if there's energy, if there's a war happening on, that's when you start dropping the extras to keep that bidding war going.
Well, my idea is if you get an extra, it's first come, first served or something, maybe. But I have these 3 extras. I have like the first drawing of Cyberfrog that I did where he's smoking. Hey, Bender looks awesome. Well done. Well, I'm glad you think so, Murder Spree 66. Welcome, by the way. I think it's the first time I've seen you before. You may have came here from the pre-ejaculation show. I've got EVS and Cecil as Shrek and Donkey. And then I have just like some like head drawings of a bunch of characters.
I really like those drawings.
The heads.
Yeah.
There
It's funny, like Cecil doesn't look anything like your Cecil now, but he looks like the character Cecil.
Well, it was like the toss-up. What do you do, right? Like, do you make it look like actual Cecil, or like, do you make it in line with the Cecil that's in the book and in all the other fan art and stuff?
I think that's better. Yeah, it's more fun.
Yeah. So yeah, there's also extras. So if any of you guys out there do end up bidding on any of these 3 pieces, so I'm gonna have the Bender piece, I'm gonna have Gay Vampire Shane Davis, and the classic Peony Rainey, and this was drawn on stream with Rainey there. I inflicted this upon her in person, so it has added context, and of course, that is the true value of art, is the context of the art. And if you bid high enough, you'll have like have some extras to get just in case, or you can go on.
It takes some artists years to learn that truism that you just spoke.
Oh, it's the context of the art, not the art itself.
Yes.
Yeah, I was talking to my grandparents the other day, and I said like, "Oh, I'm doing a YouTube art auction," and they were like, "How does it work?" Oh, people bid, and then they PayPal you, and like, my granddad, it's always the exact question you would expect from someone who like is a normal thinker. Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, how do you know they're going to pay you? Stuff like that, right? Like my dad, when I was developing that video game, right? My dad is like, yeah, but what is it worth though? I'm like, well, yeah, but he's like, but you've done all this work, and if it isn't finished, then what is it like? He was basically saying, what's the point? You can put your money in a house. And I'm like, yeah, I suppose. Oh, but yeah, you're not making anything physical that you can sell either. It's like a digital video game project that's like, I was like, yes, it's yes, Dad. But that was ridiculous. But my granddad was like, what, how do you know they're going to get paid, blah blah blah. But one of the thing is, they're your grandparents, so they think your art is awesome. I know my art is not as good as like fucking Shelby Robertson and like me, Dan Dahl's work. I recently found his Twitter and was going through his work. To be able to draw like that would be fucking amazing. Can you imagine being able to draw like these people, man?
No, the amount of learning and then applied dedication, I don't see. I don't know. I'm much more interested in just being a bit of a jack of all trades and then brute force efforting my way through life. These guys are like like there's very specific talents. You know, they're very specified. But I mean, if you can't like, I mean, from what I'm looking here, it's like I wouldn't compare this stuff to Dan Dahl. This is really top notch cartooning and caricaturing. So I like this is, you know, this to me is, you know, this is easily Kelsey Shannon level caricatures in my mind.
I bet Kelsey would have something to say about that.
No, he would. I think he would agree. He's pretty. I mean, you know, I think he knows his talents in coloring and all that sort of stuff is a bit.
I love Kelsey stuff.
Awesome, but yeah.
But well, you know, I've been trying to practice in order to try and do my comic physically. And man, speaking of good artists, the stuff that Rod Luper puts up, it is a gift from the universe to you that you've written a story and it's been drawn by that art. You know what I mean? Like, I know you're paying for it and stuff.
Let me show you something that he just sent me. I just keep staring at it. I always hear writers talking about this.
Yeah.
You know? And then now I have it myself. And I'm not going to show the whole page because I haven't shared it with the channel members yet, but I was just
is it share screen or are you going to make
I'll share screen. Hold on a sec.
Whenever I get animations for my game, it's the same. It's the fucking same. It's the best. Like seeing my 3D characters that I've made get put into motion and like going asleep and doing their active idle. It's just a dream come true.
Yeah, and I love how he's able to do it in a way that I can't, and it's so great. So here we got my two characters here, Ella and her fella. That's how I'm calling it at the moment, while it's still in the Darth Sidious phase, where anyone who reads the books will know who it is, but you know, I'm not going to say it out loud because it is a reveal in the book.
Yeah.
But man, this is part of a double page spread, and basically it's all these characters just rushing them, and so she's like ready to go. She's sort of spun around at this point, ready to go, and I love how he's just dead calm. I was like, oh my god, Rod. And he drew this guy so perfect. Even, you know, it's small, you know, so it's just little lines on the faces, but the expression, and I'm just like, oh my god,
it's what you don't draw as well. That's the thing. It's like in pixel art, right? You're hinting at what's truly there instead of actually physically describing what is literally there. And when drawing small, she's almost got, I'm not gonna say it, she's almost got the uni boob, pec boob.
Yeah, we're gonna go through that during the editing phase, and we might have to like make some adjustments, but that's cool, doesn't matter. But I'm just so
the thing I like
usually people are used to drawing, you know, ladies with massive boobs, so it's a little
what's the point
when they don't have massive boobs. But,
well, then, I mean, in my thing, I've purposefully got a character that's going to have small boobs, and everyone makes fun of them all the time for it.
Even
though they're not even that small.
But man, I'm just so I'm so happy with how this book is coming out. The guy is a friggin'
The thing I liked the most on that was the shadow behind him.
yeah, all of that stuff. All that stuff that I just wouldn't probably think to do.
You probably put it in the
because
coloring stage.
well, it's just more of he's a guy who is fully dedicating his days to the improving and at his art. And I'm not doing that. And I'm glad he is, and I'm happy to pay for it. So that's why it's like
I always think I
so
should be
cool.
doing that
So
more.
exciting.
By the way, I always think I should be doing that more. I have some stuff as well to show off that came today.
Oh, I've got that.
Very
nice.
Some it came. It was sitting there waiting for me. I was thinking I was opening it up. But yeah, like for me, the constant pain is ultimately I'm like you. I want to be the jack of all trades, right? Like I can 3D model. I can do that shit. I can like build video game levels and program the story into the game like you just write like you're writing a book but in code like to make a game. But I'm there like I see that wonderful art and I'm not like I need to do that. I need to be able to do what they do. But like there's always that point you wish you were at where it's just that little bit extra from where you currently are. And that pain never goes away. That never ends. That process never ends a lot. But I've been doing a lot of the draw streams and stuff and trying to ink physically. Like, look, if I was to just start drawing Conal the Barbarian digitally, I could probably get it done pretty quickly and it could probably look good. But like I currently feel like I should try and draw it traditionally, but I can't do as good a job in physical art as I want it to look, especially getting the girls to look cute and sexy. That's the thing I can't do.
Could you not pencil it and then ink it digitally?
I'm thinking about that. I might do that. I need to do some tests of that. I will do some tests of that. I have a printer over there. Did you do that for your recreation of the cover?
No. I just there's a special. I mean, I don't know. John Malin called it something. I just printed out at really low opacity.
That's what I mean. You printed it out.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant drawing it again. I'm like, no, fuck that.
No,
I already did that once. Don't need to do it again. Yeah. That's what I do with pretty much all of my art, unless it was that this, which obviously you can't. You can't print out a pencil drawing. That sort of stuff is different, but yeah.
But yes, I got Gwazine, but I don't know. I don't know if everyone got a dwarves versus whatever. What is it called? Is that you? Is that you?
Yes.
Phenomenal.
I've got that T-shirt, by the way.
And I was, you know what? I was sitting here. I always do that. I was sitting here thinking, oh, so he's got a big forehead. I was like, wait, shouldn't you like cut out a metal bit here and then had the full skin forehead showing? I've always got to be a dick. Look at this. Look at this.
That was my forehead armor. So,
look at this cool skull paper. It'll get
Aerith was one of the first guys to really show everyone what you can do with the whole presentation and everything, because that's what he does. And they have all these businesses where they sell stuff. So
you see this sketch, by the way?
That
was a woman's body with boobs, but because I was going to do it on camera, I had to turn it into something else.
Clever. Fight the censors.
Yep. Oh shit, got a patch and a sticker. Is that a sticker? It's like a vinyl sticker?
That's a double-sided so if you peel it back a little bit on the front, there's a sticker underneath the sticker.
Oh shit, okay.
Which is apparently something that no one does. So they had to kind of invent this.
Isn't it just 2 stickers?
Yeah, so you peel it back and you get to see what's underneath the mask.
Oh, so it's a stacked sticker,
Yeah.
not a two-sided sticker. I thought you meant a two-sided, being like you can put it on a
Yeah,
window.
no, sorry. Yeah, I mean
It's
the
a
sticker
stacked
on top of a
sticker.
sticker.
That's a cool patch. There we go.
That's
bought
Mo Biggs, by the way. That's
this.
kind of that's their drawing of Mo Biggs. That's who he is in the Dorse versus Line book.
Okay, as soon as the subjects come up. Who is Mo Biggs? Who is this mysterious Mo Biggs fellow? Black Avatar, is basically man about town, constantly complains that he's getting gate kept, and then is bowed to whenever gatekeeping is accused. Who is Mo Biggs? A sticker and a patch? Who is this gentleman of such?
Well, Mo's been around forever, so he's been here since day one, and he's just, the wittiest man of the chat for 5 years straight. So he's a.
So you don't know him in real life or have any actual connection to him?
I have emailed him. We have corresponded. He's come onto the show 2 or 3 times.
Oh, so you've heard his voice?
Stayed on for about 5 seconds, and he says one thing and leaves. Now there's a character that came on to I think it was either Skip Edwards or B Rose's chat once, called Cletus Bogantus or something.
Yeah.
In reference to my she's probably playing with their cleat. And yeah, he talked for a long time actually, but it was in a character. He voiced some of the some stuff that used to happen on the Good Stuff show. He's been around. People have heard him, but yeah, very few people know of him.
Check this out. This is thicker than I thought it would be, which is interesting. I thought it was gonna, because it was a zine, I thought it was gonna be like stapled. This is something I've always wanted to do. This little mini thing. This is actually something they use on a lot of Japanese hentai doujins to cover up the boobs. They'll have like the boobs on the cover, but then they'll have one of these over the top, and it'll have like the version of it with a bra on or something. So that's kind of funny. We've got the Bancroft S there from his hat.
It's actually Red Empires. That is.
What? No, the hat.
Yeah, but do you even know Anton Dennison?
I've heard his name many times come out of your mouth.
That's so funny. Antoine was another guy who's been in my chat forever. And he still watches, but he watches replays. He doesn't hang out in the chat much because of work timing schedules. But yeah, he's been there forever.
But he does a book called Mavericks?
No, Mavericks is Neff, but that underneath Mavericks is that Red Empire's logo still. I just covered it with black tape because I was like, I want to promote some other people's stuff. But yeah, I don't know how far off his book is, or if it's even still happening, but yeah.
Whoa, that's cool. I've gone on record as saying that I fucking hate gray washes and I hate markers used to shade. So when I say I think this looks very good, that's I'm not. It has to actually be good because I'm very, very critical of.
They're very hit and miss. I agree. They can look amateurish if not done.
Yeah, definitely.
Well.
This doesn't look amateur at all. This is awesome.
No, these guys are pros. They're everyone involved in this thing is really yeah.
Look at the balance of tones on this. This is awesome. But yeah, I don't know if people can still get this. They probably can.
Yeah, Aerith is like me. He's a kind of always selling. As long as it's not sold out, he'll always be selling.
But like, if anyone in the chat actually doesn't know anything about this, it is a collection of short stories. It is an anthology, but I think it has a certain vibe to the stuff they make, which is going to make it actually entertaining and not like just roll your eyes. Oh, it's another anthology. I don't usually buy oh, there's nipples. Yes, there you go. There's nipples in it, huge nipples. That have ended up on the screen, I guess, but only for a couple of seconds. Oh, look at this page. Look at this. I love this style. Look at that alien dude.
That's cool.
I like this. I love the.
Is that Rich Ayala?
Let me have a look. Do they say the names of who made it at the beginning? This is very dense. Basically, guys, if you get this, it is very dense with creativity and fucking pizzazz. It is not just like a typical anthology where basically people will make something that they wouldn't be able to expand into something good. So they're like, I'll just throw this piece away on a Oliver Lee Arse or a Accra.
Ollie.
Yeah,
Ollie's awesome. He's 656. His Cryptidnals.
I
He's
love
an
this.
amazing colorist.
A great cartoonist as well. Like if he's doing,
he can draw.
Doing these expressions. It's printed on a wonderful yellowed paper. This is like the exact. If I did it's the exact kind of look I would want to get, and when I print in black and white. This is wonderful. So I'm not going to go through it all. So you got to check it out yourself. But yeah, getting Gwei with the Gwei-zine. I'll actually read this. I'll actually read this.
There's a great comedic bit here in Australia where you can always tell if someone doesn't like the gift that they've been given.
Okay.
Is the way to know if someone doesn't like a gift you've given them is they start describing what they're going to do with it.
That's right.
So for instance,
I'm going to put it.
You give someone a piece of clothing, and they look at it and they lift it up. And they go, "Ooh, I'm going to wear that." You know, it's like, oh, they hate it.
I'm going to wear. I'm going to actually read this one. Hates it. Yeah, it's like when your kid draws something and you're like, we're going to put that right on the fridge.
Yeah, but then you have to, because otherwise they know when you don't. They remember.
Because they live near the fridge. So what is this? I bought this not even really knowing what it was, but I know it had a lot of... It was people from the chat and from the thing, so I thought, like, it's going to be fun enough. It seemed like...
so this is... Jaws vs. Lion is same guys.
Check this out.
And essentially it's a comic book about born out of just a chat over a friggin' table drinking, saying who would win, 50 dwarves or one lion.
Sounds like a Rob hypothetical.
Exactly. And then it starts amping up. I go, oh, what if you give... And everyone says, oh, the lion would still win. Okay, well, what if you make the dwarfs like cyborg dwarfs? All right, well, then you start getting the lion stuff as well. And then it just, it just comes out, blows up from there. So they were like, okay, well, there's Mo Biggs there on his throne.
Yeah.
Carrying him in.
He's king of the dwarves.
Yeah. So they had 50 characters that they needed to come up with. So they took a lot of the sort of personalities on the streams. I'm on there, Rob's on there, Joe Fulton is there, Mo, obviously, Snuggy, all those guys, Jeremy. There's Coom Canon Shane. and then they had a whole bunch had a whole bunch of others.
It's gonna come. Yeah, that's the money shot.
Sonic Coup, man. And then they had a whole bunch of others that they actually sold. So you can.
Oh yeah, you could be
buy your way into the book as a dwarf.
Daddy. I'm slowly learning all the lore. I've realized that bow is where did bow come from? I know what it means. It's just the general respect. It's basically the nod of the head.
If it's not from Viper, it's from something like that.
What's Viper?
So Viper is the rapper who sang the rap song "Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack." What's up with that?
Okay.
And that sort of became the Crack Packs kind of.
So there was just it's kind of like there was just a funny rap song on the internet and people took bits of it, memes.
Yeah, there used to be a show, man. There used to be a show called Good Stuff, like Comic Skate Hour or something. I don't know I can't remember what it was called, but this would have been 2021, I reckon. And it was going great. It was so funny. Everyone loved it. It had these cool bits. And I don't really know what happened. There's probably drama involved. There always is. But it just one day everyone just got the message that we're not doing it. A bit like Camel with Camel Knights. It's like, we're not doing this show anymore. We'll come back and we'll rebrand it or something. I know they came back at some point, but by then it was all sort of done. But anyway, a lot of the stuff that happened came out of that. It was a real YouTube meme, just crazy whatever goes kind of stuff, kind of show.
How do you think you can ever end something like a show without it seeming like a failure? Because if you do 50 episodes, 100 episodes, and then you finish it, there's no way that's a failure. Like, everything has to end. Like, how do you end it without people being like, something must have gone wrong for that to end? Like, everything has its time. And we live in like a solid state timeline now where like everything in the future and the past all exists now.
Yeah, look, I mean, well, that's what we found with Camel Knights. It was funny. It was weird. People were like, you can't end it, as if you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to change it. People are watching it, so you can't change it. And Camel was like, no. I'm changing it. And it was weird because I've repurposed my show 4 or 5 times over the last 3 years. But I guess I didn't stop and say, all right, I'm going on hiatus, I'm coming back with branding.
It's saying it's ending. That's the thing.
Yeah, because I'm not like Camel. Camel and I have very different approaches to YouTube. And he wants everything to be branded with his Camel Moon thing, and it's all like, and then he's got this thing with seasons. I think that's all cool. Like, to me, that's like, who else is doing that? I like that.
That's the kind of thing. It's the kind of thing I like doing, and I think is missing from most people's shows. That's why I liked Camel Knight so much, because it was the only show that did that kind of stuff. Like, you already know, like with the fucking Thursday show, like I already animated a thing. I've got more stuff to go with it. Like, I'm in my head. I think I'm similar to Camel. I want to make a universe, not a universe of all the characters, but just like, if you want to make a piece of art that is used as set dressing for something you're going to do, but then in order to make that art, you have to invent a world that the art exists in, and then you get to make several pieces of art that exist within the same world. So it's like making
that's pretty much exactly what he does with the whole. Now he's got New Space City and Ivory Tower.
I made my parody of it, by the way. I don't know if he'll even be able to. Actually, wait. Yeah, look. So as a joke, I was working on something that's. So this is the dumpster at the bottom of the ivory tower in New Space City. this is the dump. So this is where, if Camel had repeatedly not done fucking his show for a few weeks in a row and like really got people got really annoyed, I was gonna do a joke parody of Camel Knights called Hyper Knights, and it was gonna take place from the dumpster at the bottom of the ivory tower in New Space City. And I even, because Camel loves doing it so much, I even made an overlay where if you bring stuff up, it's set like he loves doing his overlays.
Yeah.
So
Camel likes he likes the idea of making original content. Because YouTube has, most people aren't doing that. They're just doing chat shows, talk shows. Just kind of get on and you just gab. But he wants to do something a bit more branded and original and whatever. So anyway, he and I we approach it very differently. But yeah, he noticed, he's like, wow, people really they really can. They still he gets on his nerves so bad. They're still like, make the show Fridays, bring back trivia night. And he's like, every single time someone asks, it's just more and more entrenched that that's never going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do agree with the thing you always say. Would you rather be the same as everyone else? No.
Yeah. Do you guys want another Jack show? Do you want to like
that even came up on the Thursday thing? Like, look, even though it said pre-ejaculation show, obviously it's going to have people coming in related to the Jack show. But like, there were discussions of, okay, what do we do with the show? Because like from one side, people are like, if you make a craft-based show, only creators are going to watch it, and you're not really communicating. You're not really communicating with an audience, which I don't fully agree with. I think that's definitely an element for sure. What is Improby saying? Camel's ivory tower should be high into the sky like the Tower of Babel. And then it falls just like the Tower of Babel.
He keeps building it higher and higher to get away from the plebs. And that's what ultimately brings him down.
But he'll never do the joke where he falls down. That's the thing I'm always waiting for him to like embrace like the punished moon thing where like it does fuck off and his hubris does get the best of him. But it's like, no, the hubris keeps building and never ends. And it's like, come on, do the joke where like it fucks up and then you have to like rags to riches again or something. Like do a story. But
I could do that. I could float that. See how it goes. I don't think he'd like it. I think he enjoys his crown too much.
Exactly. Like it's if he'd annoyed people, basically, because I had people coming into my chat all the time who seemed actually annoyed, and I was just thinking, how can I use this to like divert it into something fun instead of just ragging on it? And I would have like done the whole idea of the peasants' revolt and like, oh, here's the real show from a parallel universe in the dumpster at the bottom of the tower. But yeah. I even made part of an intro. Do you want to watch it?
Sure.
I was working on an intro. Oh god, I don't know how I'm going to be able to see this because it's probably never going to get used now. So, but we did have that. People were saying that like, where's the debauchery on that on the I think it's going to be called the creative block.
Yeah, I like that. I think that was probably the best.
We all like that. There is a channel called Creative Block, but I think if we just call it the Creative Block, and I can do some artwork of like all of us fused into a cube, like mimes, but like squished. And I could do some fun stuff with that. Like I can do the cube rotating or something maybe. Wait, or just wait till Friday and Camel's Wednesday show, and it's a proper time slot on Friday. Yeah, I think just people do whatever they want. People are gonna especially Camel. He's gonna do whatever he wants. Right? Let's see. It's a bit long-winded though, so I don't know if I'll play the whole thing. It was supposed to only ever really happen once, and then never happen again. But like if I share this tab, share it. Oh wait, yeah. My Medium. Yeah, I'll take the fucking overlay off of the dumpster. Here we go. Hyper Knight's intro, work in progress 1. Tell me if you can hear anything or not.
Yep.
Okay. That's the ivory tower instead of the... And it's the plebs outside.
Yeah, the monkeys.
Skip over it.
Uh-oh.
Going into a different reality from the
You unlock
normal
this
reality.
door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another door. This door is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of imagination. A dimension of doors. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas, and substance, of both shadow and ideas, of things and a dimension of sound, a dimension of mouth, a land of doors. You've just crossed over into Hyper Knights.
No, yeah, that's it.
My goodness.
But things didn't go that way, so I thought he'd appreciate.
Who knows? You might get the chance to use it yet.
I've blown my
Never
load
know
now.
with Camel.
if the peasants' revolt actually has to take place. But yeah, the thing I've been waiting to reveal, by the way.
Oh, you bought that?
Yeah, Shane Davis did his
You
his
bet.
Extend campaign. It closed out. He managed to fulfill it in the last week. It was a very quick campaign. It was like a day, and he took a week to fulfill it, and it's already
I
here.
missed it.
But yeah, this is his original Extend book. Like, it was kind of funny on the stream when I was talking to him about it, and then I just said ideas that you could do, and he was like, "Yeah, we did that." I'm like, "Okay then." But yeah, I just kind of didn't realize that he'd already released it, and like it was an image series, and I thought like I'm looking forward to when he does the campaign. And like I wanted to
I wonder
get...
what he's gonna do, because yeah, it's already come out. Is he?
I can tell you he did talk about it on that stream actually. So apparently colorist and letterer are both like, you can't use my work, even though you could.
Yeah, I know
legally.
that part. Yeah, I absolutely can.
So he's re-releasing. It's funny how it's an isekai. Like I was talking to about what an isekai is, and it's like some loser gets fucking hit by a truck and dies, and then gets sent to another world. Like this is the total isekai moment. Like he gets transported into the video game, just like in a Japanese thing. But I said if it's going to be a real isekai, you need to add more incest, which maybe Shane's not too impartial to. But yeah, he also said he's going to have a supplemental book with it that has extra stories.
Well, I remember him saying actually that he was like, "Fuck it, I'll redo it."
So I think it's going to have new coloring and new lettering.
Yeah, because he doesn't want them on the book anymore. It's sort of like that. Was it Henry V? I don't know. So one of the Shakespeare plays where he's like, "I'll not. We would not die in the presence of those who aren't willing to die with us," or something. Okay, Shakespeare wrote it better, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's like, well, fuck you anyway. I'm gonna rebuild the casino with even more blackjack and even more hookers. I do like in both this and in Inglorious Rex, he's wanted to maintain the vibe of like having influencer style celebrity class that's followed by the story. Like they have that with the Rex fighters too, and they have it with like the gamers in this. The gamers. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the new one that he puts out and then like comparing it to this. I'm assuming that it has an ending already. I'm not going to show it on camera just in case, but like, so maybe he couldn't continue it. But like, if he's already done this, I would love for there to be like even more continuation of the story if he's too into it, if he's really into it. But like, man, after working on my game for long enough, I know the whole thing of going through something and not wanting to work on a project anymore, just wanting to let those characters drift off silently in the night. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the
just have their day.
Yep. Even when they didn't have their day yet. But yeah, I also have another book that came. I have like a whole fucking volume. This is what. So whilst we're managing to get this together and making it beautiful color, the Japanese are making up for something.
Fuck that.
I think there's a little bit of overcompensation happening here for maybe another aspect.
Good God,
the Asian
that makes so much content.
It's amazing, and it's funny because this is Attack on Titan, and I think this might be the last collected volume, the last omnibus, which actually has 3 volumes in it. And whenever you say you can't get into the art and you think the art's shit. Funnily enough, Attack on Titan is probably one of the things where people are like, yeah, the art isn't that great. But
everyone said you got to watch the anime. So we sat down one night, watched the first episode, Mel and I.
Yeah.
And
only one episode? Yeah.
She was like, what the fuck is this shit?
It doesn't seem like anything you'd be into. Like, I think the only stuff I can think of that you'd appreciate is like Ghost in the Shell, like in a specific series of it. There's so much Ghost in the Shell that you could watch that you wouldn't be into. Maybe One Punch Man because of the comedic factor.
Yeah, I liked a sort of a One Punch Man rip off on Webtoon. I was enjoying that. I thought that was fun.
You read a One Punch Man ripoff?
Yeah, it was a little kid who he worked in a dumpling restaurant and inexplicably was the most OP'd warrior to ever be conceived of, and would just take on clans of the world's most deadliest assassins and warriors just with his he just turn it on, I suppose. It was fun. It was so silly, but it was funny.
Like I would think you would enjoy if you were to the first season of One Punch Man. And actually, Moromi's coming in with Spy Family. You never pronounce the X; you just say Spy Family. So that totally is something that a more normal person who's less anime would enjoy. At least the first few episodes of season 1. Towards the end of season 1, it seems like the episode cuts don't really know where to find themselves in between like the manga chapter cuts, and it gets a little bit muddled. But the first actual chunk of episodes are actually a very good, very well written show that like you guys could enjoy. But yeah, Ghost in the Shell, One Punch Man, Spy Family, and if you like the comedic stuff, you would probably really enjoy Mob Psycho 100. There's only 3 seasons of it, and it is pretty dense. It feels kind of American-y. Like all of those seasons, all of those series in a way, like Spy Family was made to pretty much be Spy Family, the creator of it, even though people love the characters, he says he has absolutely no emotional connection to the characters because he made it to just be a product. Like he basically worked with an editor and did all of the things that they said people would like. And then like it worked, but he said like he doesn't care for the characters at all. And I haven't seen.
You just creation by numbers, essentially.
In a way, like it is good. Like it's where is mine? It's basically there's the suave James Bond-esque spy, and then there's like cool ninja woman, and then there's the cute and funny kid character who's like also a bit devious and can read minds. And like they all have to fake being a family together in order to pull off a mission to prevent like World War. Maromi says it did feel manufactured, but in a way that worked. It felt like clockwork, basically. The first few episodes, they just felt like a big clockwork thing falling into place, which is kind of what you want from a procedural spy dramery thrillery thing. But yeah, Mob Psycho is fucking hilarious. And yeah, Mob Psycho and One Punch Man, they seem pretty Western friendly, but I don't really watch that much anime. Even though I talk about it, I just talk about it because I don't have things to talk about with like Marvel or DC or superheroes because I have absolutely no experience with them. So like when it comes to comics and cartoons, it's like what, Futurama, Simpsons, and then some anime stuff.
Well, I don't know anything that's happened in comics after friggin' 1996. So people talk about stuff all the time, and I just nod my head and go, "Oh yeah,
I know that." You just yes and
no, I don't. I never say I know that. I never. You can't pretend to know stuff because people will call you out on it, and then you'll be a laughing stock.
Shit, 88 minutes.
What's that?
Yeah, 88 minutes until the auction. Hell yeah! I'm glad I got my pieces going. But yeah, no, it's like whenever people talk about any of the old cartoons, like I wish I could get into them, but it's kind of one of the things I'm worried about with the Thursday show, that like I won't know what to say, like I won't know what to bring up, because if I was to think about story structure and stuff, I'd probably always end up talking about episodes of Futurama. Or the world building in Seinfeld, or so much of my brain was dedicated.
Well, as you can see, I'm pretty passionate about the story of Moana. I've thought about that a lot. So
the thing about what I was thinking when you were talking about that Moana stuff, I think for me it was just well done in the way that I just didn't notice it. Do you know what I mean? Like it just worked. It just
because that's how it should be. All stories should have those things in them because they're stories, but you know, a lot of the time they're kind of done by committee. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Corporate comes in and says, "Oh, we need something to happen here at this point because the marketing shows that this is the time of the movie that the demographic starts to drift off," and it's like, all right, okay, well, we're not really making art anymore, are we?
With the Mario movie, because of how long it takes to get going, it made me feel like they hadn't done any of that engineering stuff, because I'm like, wow, they're actually there's like a whole family moment, like a meeting of a group of people that's like pretty slow, and I'm like, wow, you really haven't gone to the Mushroom Kingdom yet. Like I can't believe you're letting yourselves do this, but that's why I put thoughtful in my review of what I said, because I'm like, okay, you're allowing it to take time.
This is obscure TV show. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it before. It's called, what is it called? Arcane. Yeah. And another thing I like about Arcane is that took some balls to do the full first 3 episodes and have them be essentially a in-time flashback for 3 episodes. The first 3, because I know a lot of people have said, I watched the first episode, or I couldn't really
get into
it.
Kids, I remember watching 20 minutes of the first episode and then shutting it off because I was like, oh, fuck this.
Yeah, no, they're exactly right. So many people have done that. And the reason they did that is because the switch becomes so much more impactful than if it was just you really do get lulled into the belief that you're going to be watching a show about some street kids. And
I felt like they would have gone to a different world because of what was happening the first 20 minutes. Why I turned it off is because of what I was predicting would happen. It would be like these kids would now end up somewhere else and they'd have to survive somewhere else, and then they'd meet other people, but like they'd always be annoying kids the whole time. But I'm assuming they grow up and it's a flash forward. Like that whole thing is a flashback.
You're partially correct. Partially. And that's why it's so great. Is because it goes places you do not expect it to go, because it starts off as it's set in it was set in conflict originally, but then it was like, holy shit, they actually went there. Oh, all right, okay, they wasn't expecting that. And then this seems permanent. No, this really is permanent. Okay, all right. And then you just sort of having to, it really, like, they don't do that often in shows anymore. And
okay,
I was like, okay, that's brave. And it's, I guess, brave, but also it cost them, because a lot of people, you're not the only one who's just like, nah, I couldn't get into it. I don't want to watch some, cutscene kids TV show or whatever.
Well, the thing is, another part of it is because by the way, Nomadedamon. Go, Nomadedamon!
Nomadedamon!
I choose you, Nomadedamon! Seeing as Nomadedamon has said it's solid, I think I might watch it. I mean, you can talk about it all you want. Now that Nomadedamon!
I know, right? What am I, chopped liver here? Jesus.
I try and make a point all the time about, I'm trying to weave this point about how the format almost decides the value preemptively of what you're going to think of a piece of media. And also, as the creator, the end point of the format is going to decide how much of an effort you put into it. So like I always say, okay, you're going to write 2 stories. One of them is going to go on for sale in a book, in a shop, for $20. The other one is going to go on a streaming website for free. I mean, you're going to get paid the same for both. One of them is going to be in a shop and people are going to have to pay $20 for it. The other one, we're going to throw it up on whatbook.com and subscribers get to read it for free. Imagine you're about to set out writing those 2 separate stories. Do you give more of a shit about writing one of them than the other?
I guess you would have to, yeah, obviously.
My argument is you implicitly do just like a different pathway in your brain. If you know there is going to be like that difference in value exchange between like you creating it and the customer buying it, like, oh, they're going to buy a Blu-ray, or are they going to watch it on streaming? I think there's an implicit like different fucking set of wiring that the creative process goes through in your brain when you're making those 2 separate things. And I think that's why a lot of streaming service swill is so shit, because it's just, okay, we already got paid. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, we got paid though. Like, oh, these special effects aren't that good. Like, oh, we got paid already. Do you know what I mean? Like, we already won. We already won by it being selected for us to produce it. Like, we won at the beginning, not the end. But
yeah, yeah, I think there's some truth to that. I mean, there's so much bad stuff out there. It's not even.
yeah,
crazy.
but I think the same thing happens with the viewer nowadays. I think if you had to buy a video game or you got it free from a streaming service, hey, Camel's in the house. Like, you implicitly value it more before you even touched it. Like, you've had, in fact, right? You have the box set of the TV show, and you have it on, or you have it on streaming. I think if you have to buy the box set, you implicitly value the experience of the medium more because you had to. It's a physical thing, and you had to exchange some real money.
Yeah, you're definitely going to be more willing to give it more of a chance. I can agree with that. I mean, you know, there's so many Netflix shows that I've put on and then turned off within 20 minutes. I'm like, no, this is garbage. Speaking of that sort of brave storytelling, I always surprise people because they scoff. There's two other shows that have been equally as brave in different ways with their storytelling. And the first one is the 100, which is pretty mind-blowing what they did. The 100 was a sci-fi TV show. I think it lasted either 5 or 7 seasons, can't remember. Where every season they switched the genre.
Okay.
So season 1 was a very YA end of world sort of Maze Runner type sci-fi thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Season 2 was a dystopian future with tribes, and you know, season 3 was like a Planet of the Apes in the bunker kind of, and then they went into weird, like there was a Mad Max season. There was a kind of cult cyborg. It got bizarre, and then it finished. The last season was the kookiest, but I was like,
was it still following the same characters? Were the
same characters, but just such a catalytic event would take place at the end of each season.
Yeah,
it would flow into the next season, and they completely flipped. So it's obviously all sci-fi, but you know, there's all different kinds of sci-fi. They would completely flip. So it was like you were watching a new show, and it was how they would sort of sell it as like they reinvent the show every season.
Yeah,
this is such high stakes because what if you lose all of the audience?
I would expect. I would genuinely expect that if there isn't an actual very strong thread that sounds like something that sounds super cool conceptually. It's something you'd want to try. Yeah. But then, like, you do think, like, if you even did that on a YouTube series, you build up a channel, then, like,
exactly
the theme of the channel every month, and it's like the same people with a whole different visual theme.
Yeah, like the band that was heavy metal just decides, all right, this year we're going to be punk, and then the next year we're going to be hip hop.
Yeah,
you know, it would, but it was kind of, now, you know, I'm the way I'm describing it probably sounds a bit harsh. There, obviously, it all made sense, but the flavor of each season, it completely sort of reinvented itself, which I always thought was So I appreciate it for that. Mel was like, it's pretty trashy, and it was pretty trashy. So
you just appreciated the high concept nature of it.
Yeah, and Moromi says that was unintentional. They never knew that they were renewed for another season. Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not saying like, oh, this is what they planned from the beginning or anything. they did it, and I've never seen a single other show that pulled it off. Yeah, it's still trashy sci-fi. There's no doubt about that. I mean, it's not like
the two
high art or
closest things that I feel to that come to mind are, one is Blackadder, but it's different because it's still a comedy. Do you know what I mean? They still have essentially the same show, but it's a different time period. So like, even though they
but Blackadder, it was sort of like almost like a different show because it didn't really, there was no continuity between the different times.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that it brings that to mind, but it's different. But another one when Moromi says they thought they were getting cancelled each time, it makes me think of Red Dwarf. Don't know if you ever watched that.
Yeah, of course.
Like, that, you know, those shows, what they were doing in the show, like, it wasn't that it changed format, but like they did have some pretty big changes between the seasons because they always did not know if they were getting another season 2. So like they, in the first couple of seasons, they even did fucking title crawls like Star Wars style that pretty much reframed the entire series and put them in a different situation. Like one of the seasons, it ended by them from the future coming back, and they were all like fucking fat and out of shape, and they'd had this time hopping device, and they're like, oh, you know, we've been hanging out with the greats, you know. Adolf Hitler's a really great host, you know. You can only the finest foods, and they're like, "Holy shit, this is what we turned into."
I like the episode where they it was all a game, and they it was like basically it was the Matrix,
and all the characters were flipped, and you had Crichton thinking like, "Oh, I'm Jake Bullet, cybernautics." It's like, and then literally Rimmer's like, how do you know that isn't just traffic police? Like, and it turns out it is.
The other show that always triggers Aldous when I say this,
that
I can't believe they pulled it off. I'm in shock. They did what so many other I don't think really hardly any shows have ever managed to do is friggin' The Blacklist.
The Blacklist?
The Blacklist, which is, as you imagine, it's a kind of high-ish budget for an American.
I haven't heard of it before.
Yeah, it's got James Spader in it. It's sort of a how did you describe it? Essentially, the show starts with the FBI top, fugitive surrenders to the FBI and says, I'll only work with this chick. And everyone's like, who's this chick? Anyway, he starts dishing out, goss, because they call himself the concierge of crime. And it's the Blacklist. And essentially, the show is episodic in that every episode is about hunting down some different person.
Yeah.
Over 8 seasons, they weave in, and 8 seasons, and it's probably like 28 episodes a season. They weave in this meta long-form narrative of this mystery about who this FBI person, who this criminal is, and his relationship to the character. Now, along the way, some of these episodes are awful. There's some great ones in there too, but some of them are just hot garbage, what you would imagine from this sort of show. But if you look at some seasons were, but they sprinkle in the whole way over 8 seasons, over probably, what is that, like hundreds of episodes, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's hundreds, but
many fucking hours.
many hours of misdirection. They weave in this incredible story that actually, from the very first episode until the end of season 8, they did continue on after season 8, pointless, doesn't matter. But at the end of season 8, it all comes and you get the conclusion, and you get it's essentially it's perfect mystery box storytelling that actually gets paid off, and it's one of those kind of twist reveals that I did not see until I was being shown it, and I've been watching the whole time. I was like, holy shit, I can't believe they.
Are you gonna say the reveal? Like, I have no
Achieved
idea what the show you're talking about. Like, I've never heard of this before.
Well,
What do you mean?
okay. I mean, if anyone who doesn't want to know is going to have to shut
Well, you could
up.
say what type of connection is made if you don't want to say it directly. You could kind of.
No, I'll spoil it. I don't
Okay,
care.
okay.
If anyone doesn't want to
Guys, if you want to watch
turn off your,
eight fucking seasons,
if you want to watch 8, although Jane Spader is phenomenal in it, but the other character, the chick, she is insufferable. But you just have to put up with that.
that's
Anyway,
like like telling someone to go watch Breaking Bad, and you're like, Walter White's great, but Skylar, fuck that bitch.
Oh yeah, true. Essentially, so he turns up, James Spader turns up, and he's like, I'm only going to work with Elizabeth. They're like, who the fuck is Elizabeth? She's an FBI agent. And he's really concerned with her the whole time. And you're like, all right, well, he's probably her dad, I assume. And then that goes on for a couple of seasons. Like, is he the dad? Isn't he? I don't really get what's going on here. And then he says to her, no, I'm not your father. And then eventually it gets revealed that they have the same DNA. And then you're like, well, hang on. He said he wasn't the father. And then it goes on and on and on. It turns out he's not her father. He's her mother.
Yeah.
And they slowly and meticulously that's the whole point of the blacklist, was to show the audience in tiny slivers all the different bits of ingredients that led him to being forced to change himself from a woman into a man to come back and do this. And it was incredible. I was like, holy shit. And it was so subtle that there's videos now on YouTube of people still arguing whether or not
that they're
he's actually her mother, when he clearly is, obviously. But people are just like, no. But yeah, it was. I legitimately didn't see it coming.
Maromi says he's glad.
And it's not like the way I'm describing it sounds like it's a trans thing. No, it's not like that at all. Like it was a survival thing. It was a kind of, like you got to kind of someone.
You got to become
a
man to survive in this world.
No, it's like so the original person had to die, and so then, well, how do we? It was really amazing. It really was. And I was like, you know what? I was just impressed that they were able to pull it off over 8 seasons. I was like, that's a lot of, because that could have been cancelled at any time,
Yeah.
And then it's just,
that
was a show about.
It would have still been good without the reveal, though. Like, even though they were building to it.
It would have been enjoyable. Good like cop schlock kind of stuff. But
you've reminded me of a story point from something I wanted to make, and I don't know if I'll do it because it involves something similar, and it's to make a villain, and because I've been trying to think of, right, look, you can have cartoony villains, but you want a villain where you really fucking hate them, and you really want them to die, like but you feel like implicitly grossed out by them. And I'm, like, people seem to be getting implicitly squeaked out, is what a term we'd use over here, about, like, the gender stuff. And, like, I don't know. I don't think I'll ever use it, so I'm thinking of if I should just say it on a stream to say, like, imagine if this was a villain and it was so horrible. But I don't know.
What, Dylan Mulvaney?
No. It's way horrible. So okay, 16 people. Well, just imagine you have.
Let me ruin my reputation.
No, it's more like
16 people watching.
it's just imagine you've got in a story you could have like a friendly fat character, like a friendly fat guy character who has like a big belly, and then like eventually across the course of the story you realize that it's not a guy and it isn't a fat belly, and like it ends up being part of like a ritualistic magic ceremony to do some like big powerful evil thing, but the whole time you had like that person hiding as that character to kind of like mask this pregnancy, right? Like they're like a Friar Tuck character, and like that pregnancy would have been used in like a magical ceremony to like kickstart some really horrible thing. But I'm not going to go into more details, but I don't think I'll use it.
Well, anytime you involve babies and dogs, usually that's like people will start getting visceral with their distaste for the character. So
I totally have this, but rather part of a ritualistic ceremony. They were masking his pregnancy. You should put that in Hail Salad.
Hamill has a special way of just cutting right down to it and mocking you with your own words.
Oh, how awkward! Yeah, I don't think I'll do it. But I was trying to think of like, what would people think was just like some implicitly horrible character. It's Friar Tuck, but it's not. It's Friar Sheila or something. How do you make really evil villains, Bancroft? How do you decide to weave your villains? Do you just go for like, oh, they want to kill people and want power? Or do you think they're really twisted?
I don't particularly enjoy twisted villains. I
don't enjoy them, but
I like it when I like the villains a little bit in terms of I respect their game. You know, kind of like Moriarty,
like Palpatine or style, like he's
Palpatine. Yeah, I like Palpatine. Even Vader. You know, like I respect his swagger. You know, they're still the villain though. I'm not talking about, oh, you know, it's really ambiguous. No, I'm just saying like, just sort of like, you know, they're enjoyable to watch. And I think part of that is because I know that they're so not real. They're, you know, if they were in real life, they'd be a menace. But
yeah, like good villains you agree with, horrific villains you despise. That's the thing. I've been trying to think of making a villain that you really would fucking despise and want to see dead. Like where like the reader would be cheering for when they fucking die. But like it's like, do you really cheer when Scar dies or if Ursula got killed or like any?
I don't know. I feel like I've seen some villains that I'm just. Oh yes, Umbridge from Harry Potter.
You take umbrage with Umbridge.
Her death is, well, she didn't even really die. I mean, she got carried off. It was just like, yes. I think I can't remember what. It's been so long since I read the books. I can't remember what her ultimate.
I don't know Harry Potter. So you'd have to explain.
Oh, well, Umbridge is the epitome of an SJW. She is a SJW with all the power.
Oh, is she head of like the magic government or whatever?
No, she's like second or third in charge or something, and she's a full on.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones villains definitely were you just wanted to see them die. That's true. But I like a character like Thanos. No, I actually I wanted
you wanted to see him survive, but do you know what? Actually, wait.
I like him on screen.
With a character like film Thanos,
yeah,
like you don't really want to see him die, but I think there could be an element of you want them to have their power taken away so they can't keep doing certain things. Like
that's essentially what happens in the comics every time. It's a bit like a Batman villain who gets away, and then Batman just inexplicably decides not to pursue him because the episode is over.
Yeah. Like they're just gonna keep they're gonna keep doing it, so you want them to be like debilitated or something.
Oh no, the Joker's getting away. That's okay, Robin. I have a feeling we'll run into him again soon.
Oh no, I
Next
mean
week.
more like say instead the beginning of the film he gets the power and then does the snap early on, and then the rest of the film is like trying to repair it and reverse it, but then like he would get the glove again, like they fuck up some kind of time loop and he gets it again and snaps it again and it's worse that time. Like if they almost beat him but then he completely pushes it all the way back and resets it, I think it's almost like the viewer will be like, for fuck's sake, just kill him already, like just stop him. Like if the villain keeps managing to repeat the same thing, I think
if you're starting with a premise and Camel is like, just have them crack baby skulls. Like if you're starting with a thing like, oh, I want it to be like this, you're just sort of, all right, well, what's the, what horrific thing can I make them do? And then you start to, all right, is this even an enjoyable story?
Well, it's the trick. It's the trick of making it seem like a nice character that then does something like that, and you feel fucking deceived by the character, and you're like, "Fuck you, fuck you, you got me," that kind of thing. But like that's it wouldn't just be to make something horrible happen. It's literally you made me like you, and then like it was all a fucking ruse, and I feel like an idiot for believing you or something. But. Yeah.
Nomad Damon says Silco is a good villain. I know when he was talking about good villains, I was thinking of Silco too. That's from Arcane. But I didn't want to bring it up because I know.
Well, it's already brought up. I didn't want to bring it up. But seeing as someone else from the chat has brought it up, I think now I can elaborate on it.
Exactly. Now, I want to talk about it. Yeah, that's a good Silco. Great character.
Go on then.
Well, Silco is your classic good guy turned bad, but that all happens before. So the two sort of main people were best friends, and then they got estranged because they didn't believe in the same thing. And Silco eventually becomes a sort of what would you call them? Like not a warlord, a gangster. And you think he's going to be just this evil guy because he looks pretty evil, but he's actually he definitely falls into the sort of Thanos. There's reason and logic and emotion and everything behind what he's doing. So definitely not the kind of character you're describing.
What makes him feel villainous? Well, that's like the moral ambiguity that you understand of like it's just okay. They have something that would they have an aim that you traditionally see as bad, but they're layering on.
Silco is villainous in the same way that a terrorist is villainous. Is that he will, what he's willing to do to achieve the ends that he is going for is pretty much anything really.
Yeah, like Breaking Bad, Walter White style, or.
Well, he'll kill. Well, essentially in Arcane, you got the top world and the underworld, and he's running the underworld, and he wants to have his own. He wants it to be independent, and he'll do anything essentially to get it to that. So, and he's sort of they're developing Arcane magic. He's developing, I can't remember what that's called, some serum thing that makes you all strong and crazy and freaky, and they're sort of locked in a battle, and his Jinx is his sort of bulldog that he barely has on a leash, who's out there just murdering people and being generally crazy. But he also like loves Jinx like a father would.
Yeah.
So it's just good. It's good stuff. I like it. Camel brings up Tywin. Yes.
There you go. Well, you have to
Tywin
explain
and the Bastard.
Game of Thrones character.
Are you into Game of Thrones at all?
No.
Yeah, so Tywin is
audiobooks, but
oh my god, Tywin is just the villain that you, as soon as he's on the screen, you just yes. You just want to hear him speak and just want to watch him, and he's just, you know, he's completely self-serving, but you know he thinks he's doing what he has to do. But almost everything that he's doing is against all the other characters that you've become sympathetic to. So he is a villain, even though you love him. The Bastard is just a fucking prick, and you hate him. Like, you really want to watch him suffer in a really brutal way. And this guy's a fucking piece of work.
Well, what makes you feel that way about him as a villain, the Bastard? Just the things he does, or is the story constructed in a way where he even irritates the viewer? Because that's one thing I wanted to try and explore, is like making a villain almost so irritating to the viewer that they'll cheer when they die. Do you know what I mean? Like, in how they inhibit the plot progression or inhibit the growth of the main character or something. Like,
I don't know if it's irritation. He's completely sadistic. Like, just beyond. And in Game of Thrones, to be the most sadistic character in Game of Thrones is saying something. And cruel beyond any imagination. Just, you know, the amount of wanton, unnecessary pain and suffering he inflicts on others for no reason other than his own pleasure. It's just because he wants to. And he literally gets off on it. It actually hurts his stature, because the Bastard is not the top guy in his, what do you call it, house, you know? He's second in command. So, and he does all of this sadistic stuff. He does it all, you know, and without the other guy knowing about it. And when he does find out of it, it's like, you know, you're putting us in a bad position, because now we're going to have all these armies, and they do. The armies want to come and kill us all, and we're going to have to fight a battle now, you know, that sort of stuff. So it didn't even help him. He was tormenting these characters. And even if you weren't particularly sympathetic with them, it was still just, you know, your sort of basic humanity was just like, this guy's got to fucking go. This is just beyond the pale.
But did he attack characters that you liked as well?
Yeah, he did anyone and everyone. He attacked Jon Snow, which is, you know, he's like the main guy that everyone loves. His sister, and then others that you didn't really care about as much, but was still like, oh, come on, bro.
So you much prefer the fun Palpatine-esque?
Yeah, the Tywin Lannister, the Palpatine, the Thanos. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, if you got a big story, there's room for all kinds.
Yeah, and I'm almost thinking that, like, thinking of the, like, how to make it might be engineering from this conversation. I wonder if you could make a villain that is like ticks a bunch of those boxes at once by first having a villain who is evil and loving it, and you like them, right? Like, You want a
Mhm.
villain you possibly even actually like. They're fun, but then
Yep.
you could have the sadistic villain like torture and kill the nice villain. Do you know what I mean? And like
Yeah, someone who comes in, someone who's there with him, and he's like, it's not as bad because you still get the good villain, you still get all the fun, and then he takes away that fun and leaves you with him.
that's what I mean.
Like,
A villain that steals from the reader and the viewer, and like
yeah, I think that could work.
And like you know, he's even he seems more powerful because he beats he's being horrible. Like, okay, he's even being sadistic and horrible to the villain. So then you'd have like a bit of conflict in the reader's like mind of like, wait, I'm not supposed to care that this villain is being tortured or whatever. But then
That's a little bit like Breaking Bad with Walter White, who starts off as a protagonist and slowly becomes the villain.
Yeah.
But you still are invested in what he's doing because you want to see it play out because it's very interesting. So you know there's doing bad things and you're not down with all the way he's descending, but it's very fun and interesting to watch along the way, and you want to see where it's headed. And that Tuco guy was constantly fucking it up and like.
Well, the Tuco thing is what I mean about like you want to depower a villain seems so dangerous that you just want them to be crippled. You don't even want them to be dead. You just want them to go away. Like you want the zombies to not be a presence anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like if Tuco was just a head in a jar that couldn't actually do anything, you'd probably be like, okay. But like he's so chaotically evil and unpredictable that you're like, I just want this firecracker off the table so I don't have to, because your brain is almost like implicitly trying to predict what the characters are going to do, right? And if you have like a villain that's unpredictable, but the things that he does can like really fuck up, really push back things for the people that you're rooting for, it's like the viewer just wants them fucking gone.
That's it. I think he was always getting in the way of what you wanted to see where Walter was going, and I felt like he was always getting in the way.
Yeah,
and that's why you were really rooting for that guy to get it.
You know what?
On top of just being an absolute,
imagine if what people said might have been actually did happen, and Jar Jar Binks actually was a big villain. And so you could have had this villain just being a complete fuck up with the hero party, like ruining everything for them all the time. But really, he's just a villain doing it on purpose. Like
Kaiser Soze.
I don't know that reference.
Oh my god!
I gotta say, if I don't get one, and I've heard of the name, I've heard of it,
dude. You wanted like an amazing villain. I mean, basically what you just described, although I can't really say anymore because you do need to watch The Usual Suspects. It is essential viewing. Kaiser Soze is now a cultural meme in terms of a villain, so you have to watch it. It's required.
I know it probably seemed like a retard.
And I'm not
things.
There's loads of movies I haven't seen. But yeah. I don't want to say anymore. Watch Usual Suspects. It is that good. It's great movie. Kaiser Soze as well, a fantastic villain.
In that movie. Okay. Kaiser Soze, the Jar Jar Binks of The Usual Suspects.
Well, no, it doesn't quite work the same, but you'll I think once you've finished it, you'll sort of see what I'm saying.
Cool. But yeah, I want to try and make some villains that do tick all those different boxes. Do you have big antagonists in the Lucent, or is it more like a group, or is they an antagonist?
There is. It's all very mysterious.
Okay.
I mean, if you listen to what I've just been saying for the last hour on this stuff, yeah, I like it when it's all a bit Machiavellian, all a bit mysterious. I'm trying to do with the Lucent. I'm trying to do stuff. I'm trying to do new takes on stuff that you're familiar with. So, the kind of character that you're probably familiar with, but you haven't seen it quite like this before. That's just pretty much what I'm trying to do with a lot of my characters. So, yes, there is. But at the same time, I don't have just a complete, chaotic, crazy villain. Everyone is doing my villains are sort of more like they're doing what they think needs to be done. Now, certainly from a lot of, especially from Ella's perspective, she's not in this world at all. She's coming from our world. So to her, it's beyond the pale what they get up to.
The blood rituals.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of their rules,
chugging down the adrenochrome,
ancient. They're even if you looked at the rules from 2,000 years ago and today, you go, "Oh, that's fucking barbaric." But back then, that was just, so it's more like that. And, but this because a lot of the Lucent it's not an allegory, but there's probably a word for it, where it's a sort of story where it's really a way of thinking about certain things, themes, morality, all that sort of stuff through entertaining story. So yeah, it is a lot of like questions, is this good? Is this bad? That sort of stuff.
Well, it always makes me wonder about whenever you're writing like fantasy or someone who goes around killing, like even someone who's, I'm the hero, but I've got a gun and I'm just mowing down people. Like if you were to do a slow, dramatic thing, even the idea of someone killing one person would fuck them up and give them PTSD or something. But then sometimes if you have like a barbarian character that's mowing down like hundreds of people across the course of a journey, or even like a fantasy RPG group that's going around killing people, like it always makes me wonder, like, wait, do they care that they're killing people in these things, or do they just not? Is it just a different time and no one really gives a
shit? It's funny that you should mention that, because that was one of my criticisms of The Matrix.
Yeah.
Which my book is heavily influenced by. And there's a lot of things in the Lucent that are, what if I wrote The Matrix? How would I have made it? And how would it have been different? How would have I?
What if I wrote Citizen Kane? Would there be a Kane in my Citizen Kane?
Exactly. In that scene that everyone loves, where Trinity and Neo enter I guess it's the foyer of some building.
Yeah.
And they're just fucking massacring
all the
innocent
Smiths,
people.
Right? Are they not Smiths?
No, they're not Smiths. They're people plugged into the Matrix.
What happens when they get killed in the Matrix? They get like mulched.
They die. Yeah, they get dropped out of their goo pod into the friggin' abyss.
But isn't that going to happen to them anyway? And they're living a lie.
Yeah, you're not. Look, you're just not supposed to think about it because
no. But that's what I mean about their rationalization. They might have that kind of like none of that. The separation of having them in the Matrix and like knowing the story behind it might be like, well, you're not living in Fakeville anymore, and that's like the guy wanting to go in with the stake, right? Yeah, Camel. They're saving humanity, Mike.
But that's the question, right? So that's the thing. That's
Did they
the
need to mow
difference
down all those civilians
between
to save the world?
that's the difference between that and Captain America saying we don't trade lives. You know, Captain America would not, it doesn't matter if he's saving humanity, he would not go and slaughter 20 innocent people.
The Chad
That's not what
Trinity
he would do.
versus the Virgin Captain America.
Anyway, the point I was kind of getting to is you said, you know, like people would have PTSD. Yeah, I think they should. I think they would have PTSD if you were not brought up in this world or already ensconced in a war or whatever. You would have PTSD if you were made to kill people for whatever adventure you're on.
Yeah.
And that's something that I have, want to include in my story. And I wanted there to be consequences for when you slaughter people and not just, remember, like Neo should be thinking of that. He should be like, fuck, yeah, we
need to
killed a
spend
whole
a
bunch of
whole
people
hour on Neo's internal drama, agonizing over killing a guy. So look forward to The Lucent Part 3, where Ella's going to be going to therapy for a good 20 pages.
Not gonna be like that's no, but that's the thing. Like, how do you actually do that in a story and have it not just be? Because I understand why, and it worked in The Matrix too. You know,
you have them forced. You have them forced to keep going, and
it happens in movies all the time. This sort of stuff. You're not supposed to stop and think about this sort of stuff.
It's like no one ever, when in the wacky races, none of them ever go to the toilet.
The wacky races.
Do you not know what the wacky races is?
Remind me. It sounds vaguely familiar.
It's where Muttley is from and Dick Dastardly.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah. Like they never go to the. When I was a kid, I was like, wait a minute, how come they never go to the toilet?
Well, they hardly ever go. People hardly ever go, you know, take a piss or a shit in anything. So that when that happens, you go, whoa. Oh yeah, I was watching The Expanse, and at one point, two characters were talking, and instead of just having them standing around, she was squatting and she was pissing, and he was pissing against a tree. And I was thrown back. I'm like, whoa, you never see that. But yeah, I guess they do need to do that.
Was that your favorite part of The Expanse? The shitting and pissing bit?
It was
partial to a bit of shitting and pissing.
Moromi says the battery thing was dumb. Yeah, that was a friggin' who made it? Universal?
I have a theory on it.
Hit me. What's your theory?
So I don't know why. I thought the battery thing was fucking dumb too, and I could never figure out why they bothered doing it. I think it is the high impact way of just representing what is actually happening now. Like, I think we're currently doing what is happening in the Matrix, and that's just a huge metaphor version. Why would the robots need fucking people as heat batteries? It's lame. But if you take AI currently as an example, it's being trained off all the creative output of humanity. Like, we're currently being used as the batteries to power the AI, aka it being trained on our work. Do you know what I mean? Like, the whole internet, your phone is essentially the pod that they're in the Matrix, that is connected to the internet. And like all of the things that you're doing within the Matrix is basically providing the AI with all the entrainment data.
You're way too smart, Jake. It's so much more disappointing than that.
No. I don't think that's what they were doing, but I'm saying that, like,
you think that's how, like, you? Yeah,
I think that's the subconscious idea that bleeds from reality that ends up being the life imitates art imitates life thing. Like, I think the real life, the real life fruit that comes from the tree they were trying to grow in their imagination is like the world we have now, where everything you're doing on the internet, all the little bits of information making, is probably is being used to entrain like several different secret AIs.
Well, so the batteries was not the Wachowskis. So originally in the Matrix, it was a neural network. So the machines were using the exponential computing power of the
That's what I
human
mean.
mind
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
plugged together.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
But
You're a random
that's what
farm.
it originally was. Yeah?
Oh, what the?
That
Why did they
literally
fucking
originally
do
was
battery
that.
shit? I
But
didn't know that.
The studio was like, that sounds really complicated and no one's going to understand that. Why don't we just make it like they're using them for power? And the Wachowskis fought tooth and nail, and ultimately, and the studio was like, well, this is what we're doing.
That's fucking retarded, because that would have tied into real life. Like, you're going to end up...
They know how to make a movie. Like, they know how to write a story.
If old Muscat gets his way, all of your fucking mind-linked brain chips, you're going to...
it works perfectly. The whole thing ties. So I just pretend the battery thing isn't real, and I just
me too.
think it's the neural network, because that actually would... That's something that the machines wouldn't be able to do. They could not replicate.
Can't imagine anything. They can't create, right? Like an AI can't create. Like the creation comes from like the human mind, which is like a much more powerful computer. So it's like, yeah, you fucking
imagine billions of human minds tied together into one net. Like, that's how they can power the whole thing and compute everything. You know,
someone wants to do that, and someone wants to lull people in by making it a cool, fun experience where you can like fuck whoever and whatever you want in a VR dream with your mind link. Like an AI generated fucking dream that you're awake for. By the way, I really want you to teach me how to lucid dream, but that's a different conversation. But to get the free version, you have to sign away the rights to part of your fucking brain to be used as part of the neural network, right? Like,
percentage.
It's this much a month, but you know, you can get the free version, and we only need like what?
Can you imagine if that ever comes to pass?
That's what I think it will be. That's what I think it'll be. You're literally signing away. All the fucking NDAs that you sign, all the little agreements they use, it'll literally be nothing. It won't even be a consideration. It'll be a user agreement, nothing that is just like not even considered by most people. Of like, yeah, in the user agreement, you signed away the rights for them to like use a percentage of your brain as part of the render farm.
I look forward to our ant overlords.
That's what it'll be afterwards when it all goes to shit. But like from my point of view, that's what they'd want, and they'd lull you in like, oh, you can go into an AI dream and you can fuck whoever and whatever you want. Like, okay, then I'll sign the agreement. I can have sex with Sarah Michelle Gellar from Buffy. Or, you know,
Dredd says the Expanse got worse once it left sight. I mean, it really did change. It's very disappointing. But
I never watched
it until the end.
I really hate the vibe that modern sci-fi has. It's kind of, you know, when people do that joke where like all of these most recent fantasy films all look like the same film when you edit them together. To me, that's what it was with most modern sci-fi. You could cut them together and it just looks like the same shit.
Well, it's all basically the same premise, and they're just telling a different story set in the same world. So you're right. I mean, it really is. It's yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, I still enjoy it for its, you know, basic storytelling and stuff, but
didn't it finish?
The Expanse was so annoying because essentially it started as a story about a group of people who it's a ragtag kind of story, and there's this existential threat called the proto-molecule, which is sort of this, you know, unprecedented, is it organic, is it technological, no one really knows, and it's, you know, it's ravaging things, and you know, they've got to sort of fight against it. And then I think, yeah, probably after it moved from sci-fi, then they started. So the cool thing about it was it had this world that was built, but they didn't tell you about it. They just dropped you in it. So it felt very lived in, very real. You could tell there was a lot of stuff happening in the background. At one point, they stopped focusing on the story of a ragtag bunch of misfits, fighting against this existential threat to, oh, now we got to really dig into the world, and it's the Martians versus Earth versus the Belters, and we're fighting, and they're a part. It's like, this is not what the original thing.
Do they have the Rust Belt as like a fucking asteroid belt?
Well, the Belters, yeah, they lived out past the asteroid belt, so they're like like Belters. I mean, they're the people who mine, and they're poor, and everyone takes their resources and stuff. So, but it became more about that, and I was like, no, this, you should have kept the focus purely on the proto molecule, which is the most interesting part of the whole thing. There were space Mormons too. Yeah, that was funny. I like that element too.
How did that work?
Well, I guess in the future, the Mormons, became a really big political, financial block.
Okay. I thought you say they were decided as the true religion.
Yes, it kind of felt like that. There is a lot of, you know what I like about The Expanse is there's still so much familiar. Earth is still a thing, and the UN is there, and Christianity. Everyone said they dropped all that, which was disappointing because the people were talking about Jesus and stuff, which you never really saw in sci-fi before, because everyone's like, oh no, we've that just goes away, So it felt different, and then it did go away at some point.
Joseph wondered if I drew Cecil Bender, but I didn't. I was trying to draw like fucking Pixar soy Bender. Like Pixar would design him like that, but then I did a Cecil one. That's all.
Did you ever watch Robots?
At least that didn't look modern Pixar rubbish enough. I don't think I watched it all the way through.
Robots is good. It's fun. Yeah. It says some slow moments, but I've watched Robots about 3 times. It's fun. It was a good movie.
I think I kept confusing it with that film that might have been from the same company called The Robinsons or something.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
So I should watch Robots?
Yeah, watch Robots.
Watch Usual Suspects, then watch Robots.
And what do I have to watch something too? You told me I have to watch something. I can't remember what it is now.
What out of those 3 gay animes? Oh no! If I was going to suggest anything you should watch the movie Source Code. If Camel is still here, I'd even love to hear his opinion on Source Code if he's ever watched it. It is marketed as a time travel film, and that is a very specific choice of words from me. Wait. What do you mean? No, I want to know what you think. Would you watch your mouth?
Oh, I know. I think I've seen this.
Oh, really?
I think so. Hang on, let me read the.
Camel, have you watched it? Because
yes, I have watched that on the train. Yeah. No, I like that. Source Code.
You liked it? Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, Source Code was good. I like Jake. I've always liked Jake Gyllenhaal.
Ever
since October Sky.
But I thought it was good. I didn't predict it. Well, I did predict it that he'd get to keep everything in the end, but it was interesting how it was done. If you guys haven't seen Source Code before, you should go. I tried suggesting it to Narwhal as well, but it was one of those. I really fucking love a hero's sacrifice when the sacrifice is they potentially won't have ever existed. Do you know what I mean? They'll try and make an effort, but even knowing that it may not even be remembered. Do you know what I mean?
That made a lot of money.
Did it?
Yeah, 31 million to make, because it's all set on one set.
All set on a fucking train, isn't it?
150 million brought in.
Nice.
I got a guy, and I got a bunch of them in my comments laughing at me that I said that Mario will make over 100 million first week. There's no fucking way. Oh, you're such a moron. It's never going to make that much.
That
I
seems
wanna hunt them
plausible.
down.
That's why is that? How is that implausible?
Because everyone's angry. I put out, sometimes I'll put out a somewhat negative video, short, and sometimes they are quite negative, and I'm like, all right, I have to put out something. I don't want to just be Mr. Negativity, so I'll put out a couple of positive ones, and the people are still like, you fucking right wing.
It's always different. It's always different people. It's always like people think about this all the time on the internet. They'll get a certain response and then they'll change what they're doing based on that response, and then they'll be like, they're still mad. I can't win. It's like it's always different people.
No, I'm not saying that. I understand it's different people. I'm saying that even if you put out positive stuff, I put out a video about, it was one of the Mario ones, so it was just like this is gonna be great, and it wasn't anything negative at all. And I still had people. Someone came in and was like, "Oh, usually something about an incel." And I'm like, I've responded and I said, "No, I said this and that, and I don't know why you're calling me an incel. Why are you being so rude? This is a completely positive film." And they came back and said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it wasn't. I apologize." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh yeah. When you corrected someone and you're like, "This is
that was a different
diamond
one.
in the rough."
I've had a few apologies, which is unusual.
What I think is the thing is, on the internet, people are probably. I think a lot of people, they're in a comment section just because they had a bad day, and if they had a good day, they wouldn't even be bothering to go in a comment section.
No, it's very true.
And if you there's been times when people have been like that, and I've said like, you are right, and they were like, actually no.
Maybe that's what I need to do. It's like, all right, it's time to have therapy session here.
Yeah, and they're like, sorry, I was a dick. That's fine. Welcome, Phil Diaz. Phil, this stream's that auction is in 24 minutes.
Yeah, I just woke up.
Oh, great. You're gonna be nice and prepared. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready for the auction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You in bed right now?
Yeah, I am. For sure.
You gotta show us.
What time is it there?
9:36 a.m.
Is that early for a Diaz?
Oh yeah. For me, yeah.
It's like, I don't get up before 12.
I saw the number 8 for the hour section of a clock this morning, and I was like, holy shit, what is my life coming to? So early.
Man, if I get up at 8, I feel terrible.
Really?
Oh my God, I've wasted so many hours.
Camel says, I've gotten so many apology comments. People are You've got apology comments?
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know if I can say, because Camel says this stuff, and a lot of people, they're not happy with Camel when he does things how they think he needs to do it.
Oh, you've
and
had
Camel
is that?
Well, Camel's not, he'll just like he'll say he's not even got no fucks to give. So
yeah, he's like,
and then
he's the New Yorker aggro. He's like, fuck you. Like, oh yeah. Well, fuck you. Like,
he's not used to pleasing people. He's not used to pleasing,
But apparently a lot of them will be like, oh man, I didn't,
Will they apologize? Wait, Camel shouts at them and says "fuck you," and then they come and apologize to him.
I don't know the exact circumstances.
That is hilarious.
He's got that effect on people.
No wonder he feels so emboldened.
Because he feels emboldened. He's been doing the taxes, and I'll turn this stream right around thing for about a month now, and now he's got 2 knights who are dropping $150 a show or something.
I gotta say, I hate that it fucking works, but I still respect it. I
you
sit there and it makes me feel gross having to listen to it, and then listening to the people doing the bit, and then like they come out, oh please sir, have all of my money. Yes, I love the adoration of my king. Yes, oh shower me with praise, my lord. It's like, fucking hell, what is this? It's like some kind of twisted pay pig fucking like, oh, you gotta pay me if you want to see my feet.
Camel unlocked how to get paid like that as a man. You know, you can't do it like how Rini does it. You gotta, it's a whole different atmosphere. So
I don't understand the mentality. As soon as that time when he said like, I'll shut off the show if you don't send me a super chat, I'm like, okay, then shut it off. Come on, do it.
Yeah. So the guy.
Bitch.
I met a guy at the convention last weekend who saw me on the Camel episode where he shut it off, and he specifically brought that one up, and he's like, yeah, he was over it. He's like, he shut it off, and it was like, yeah. He didn't. The guy didn't seem too happy about him just shutting off the stream.
That's so funny. I don't understand that. Like, if you go to a movie and you pay money and they shut it off, yeah, you can be pissed. But YouTube is free,
Yeah.
So, what does it matter? And I guess if you've, I don't know.
It goes against everything I know about doing this kind of thing, but it works. So what the fuck can I say? Do you know what I mean? Like
you say it goes against everything you know, but that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good. It is good. Like I remember the day after that happened, and my chat was full of people who weren't very happy, and I was like, guys, do you want everyone to be the same? I was doing your thing. Do you really want not to be that crazy personality out there? But yeah, man, it works. I couldn't do it.
And every now and then Rob tries to do it, and I'm just like, no, Rob.
How is that gonna work? How would that work? Wait, how is he? I've never heard Rob doing that. I know. Remember,
he's done it a couple of times where he's trying to kind of neg the chat. I'm like, no, that's not your thing.
Poor Rob.
Poor Rob.
He got sick again, and then he literally he couldn't miss 2 weeks in a row because he really thought Camel would fucking kick him. Oh. He was still sick.
He was really sick. It's like that time Phil thought he was fine because Camel forgot to send him the link.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm out.
Oh, it's great. It's fucking funny. Phil, we have 18 minutes until this auction starts. I don't think we should be in this stream right now. I think we should probably be in the other stream.
I gotta get some pants on. Are you auctioning this?
Oh, is it on? What do you mean? Is it started? When?
20 minutes.
Yeah, wait. I can bring it.
You need to go over there beforehand and.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just checking my DMs now. But
yeah, she's gonna. There's like rules that she's gonna give you and stuff.
So like that is the stream that we're gonna be on for the auction. Is everyone ready? Hop in.
Look at the respect I get. I don't even get 2 L's in my name on this thumbnail.
I'll post.
You should refuse to go on.
Oh, we got a few minutes. Wait,
Yeah,
what do you
demand more L's?
Change the thumbnail, Shay.
Wait, why? Oh yeah, you need the 2 L's for Phil. She fucked up. That's it. Phil, don't go on. Don't sell any of your pieces. Make no money. It's your right. You put your foot down. It's like, if you're not gonna get my name right, I'm gonna decide to not make any money.
No, she'll ban me if I don't go on, probably. banned. Yeah, see, people notice.
I'll wrap this stream up as soon as you post the link to go in there, though. But haven't you got to have like 5 showers before you can go on a stream, Phil?
Usually. I'm at my girlfriend's though right now. She's out getting us smoothies.
What are you getting?
It's called a pineapple surf. It's like strawberries and pineapples.
When I used to get smoothies, I would have mango magic.
Oh,
God, that was good.
You know why she's making you eat pineapple, Phil, right?
Dude, I love pineapple. And I don't mind it, man. I love it.
That's like the sex version. That's the blowjob version of a woman gifting you aftershave.
Yeah, well, it's all about pineapples, almonds, you know, for the viscosity.
Almonds do that as well?
Well, almonds for the viscosity.
Viscosity.
Yeah.
You don't want watery jizz.
And then,
no one wants that.
And then celery for the voluminosity.
Is your girlfriend constructed a whole diet for you around augmenting?
Oh my God. Do you want some?
The taste
You want
texture
some
of your
good
tongue?
tasting, ropey, thick? Go on Phil's girlfriend's diet.
Dude, I've studied this stuff.
Zombie boy says like toothpaste.
Wait, he's coming for about 3 minutes, slowly pushing it. It's like rubber cement.
Yeah, you gotta make it last.
Turn it into modeling clay. Jesus.
He pushes out a whole fucking cooked sausage over the course of an hour.
You guys ever have Play-Doh and you push the Play-Doh through like the star-shaped tube?
Is that what your Prince Albert does? You gotta fucking.
I'm gonna look at that again in the same way.
You look at the Play-Doh machine and say that's a Phil Diaz penis.
It's funny we actually talking about this. I just watched. This might be slightly embarrassing to admit in my YouTube history.
Yeah.
How does an erection occur? I was on Twitter and I saw some bullshit article about female blue balls, and I was just thinking about what is blue balls. Anyway, it led me down a train, like a tunnel, and I was like, I don't even know how erections work. So I went.
Well,
and
Michael, when a man and woman love each other very much.
No, I realized very quickly. I watched this video and it was way above my head. It was all about, strange medical terms I didn't understand. So in the end, I was like, I guess blood goes in there, gets trapped, and then.
Well, it's not even a muscle. It's like a SpongeBob SquarePants up in there. It's like a whole fucking sponge material.
It's weird. It's like, yeah, it is. And because it gets filled with blood, the blood gets trapped. I didn't understand how it gets released, but I guess.
So the reason blue balls happen, you're saying that blood gets trapped?
Oh, the blue balls is because the while it's all getting filled with blood, the actual testicles enlarge and some thing that leads up to them gets kind of twisted or something. So there is actual physical pain, and they can turn blue. Literally.
Oh, hey now.
Or bluish. Get a tinge.
We have a medical issue in the chat, by the way. Apparently, this individual has a severely prolapsed uterus, and they're going to die, and they don't want to die, and they want us to pay for vaginal rejuvenation. And the thing is, you know why I know that's bullshit?
Pray. It says pray, not pay.
Huh?
Because there are no women on the internet?
Oh, pray? Oh, no, because if you were getting your uterus sorted, you wouldn't be rejuvenating the vagina. Fucking called out. I know you're not real.
I'll pray. I'll pray for you.
Anyway, we've got to go because like she posted the link. I don't want to end this
Yeah.
stream because this is fun, but
I gotta put some underwear
We'll
on.
catch up this semen and testicle discussion another time.
tell us how you learn. I want to know what female blue balls is because I saw that come up and I
think that was
what is that
bullshit.
bullshit?
I think
Yeah,
it's
women just want to have everything.
yeah. I think it's
girls just want to have
some
cum.
idiot.
Anyway, that is the end of the stream. Head over to the auction. I think have we been posting a link? Yes, Moromi posted the link. I'll see you guys on another stream probably next week.
Good luck,
Oh, no,
fellas. I'm gonna go.
See ya.
Go to bed. So
See
good
ya.
luck with your,
By the way,
piece.
Camel had the link the entire fucking time.
What a ponce. What a
It's
what a
way
ponce.
too early for Camel. He does not. Do this. All right, I'll see you guys. Bye.
Awesome. Bye. See ya. Yeah, so I'll play something super quick. To send us all off. Which shall I choose? I'll choose. Come on, Jake. It's not that fucking hard. I'll choose this. Bye.
We didn't have a message when we left. Oh, very odd.
I am always mean to Jews, push him around like a bad dude. I always wanna tell him what to do, but mama trained to places they had never been.